Yo, 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 we live on location. We out here in Dallas, fellas. You know what I'm saying? We live on location. Came to Dallas to get my man, the Black Liberace. You know what I'm talking about?
The GOAT.
Hey, most improved.
Iceman.
Hey, look, we ain't gonna talk about the ice. Those is unmentionable. We gonna talk about what he did on the court.
Yeah.
Jermaine O'Neal, straight
Hall
out
of
of high
Famer,
school,
baby.
Don Dada, most improved, all-star, the Black Liberace. You hear me? The big dog. J.O.
Straight up.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me, fellas.
First of all, man, I'd like to thank you for coming on the show, rocking with us, bro.
Appreciate you, brothers.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate y'all.
Presented by Hennessy.
When you first got to the league, who was the first person to bust your ass?
Well, first of all, everything happens in due time. I appreciate y'all, man. I'm a big fan of the show. You guys have done a phenomenal job. Man, it's crazy. 8 seasons in now, right?
Yeah,
that's longevity
yes,
and that's work, man. So
Appreciate
congratulations to y'all. The first person that actually bust my ass was Hakeem Olajuwon.
Ooh, you got something that dream?
Yeah, it's crazy. I've been in the league so long that I was able to see even the people that I grew up watching, they were still in the league doing their thing. But Hakeem was just that. I remember it was in Houston, and I didn't even expect to get in the game. And he made sure that I wasn't in there long. Wasn't in there long. And I think I might have picked up 3-4 fouls in literally less than 2.5, 3 minutes.
What was about Hakeem that it was like, man, I see why you Hakeem, why you that good?
Bro, his footwork, his strength. People don't really talk a lot about his skill set.
Yeah.
Right? He was 6'11", fluent, shoot it,
Mix you.
pump fakes, mix, put on the floor. And he was strong too.
Yeah.
So the crazy thing is that people don't realize he fast a lot through his career.
Yeah. Ramadan.
Right,
and
Ramadan and all that other
Yeah.
stuff too. So his strength jumped on me right away. I was like, this man at least weighed 350,
Yeah.
but he moving like he 150.
Yeah.
Right. And so,
That's
I had
crazy.
no shot in hell. Some of it was because I was a big fan. He's one of my favorite players growing up watching. And then the skill set was just too superior.
Yeah. Move that started a movement. Like, you ain't the first guy that went straight out of high school.
Right.
But you are definitely amongst the all-stars, the greats that come out of there. Like, how was it for you to be not only a part of the guys that went straight out of high school to even make that jump? I feel like that's a move that started a movement. Like, how was it for you? To be a shooting big man. Like, you shot the ball. A lot of big men did back then wasn't shooting the rock like that.
Bro, first of all, shout out to all the high school players that came out. It's a hell of a transition, bro. It's no format that can prepare you for that. You going from a high school basketball court to a pro basketball court. So, it was literally the hardest thing I've ever done. Right, because I went in a situation, because everybody went to different situations. Your situation, you right away, you cooking, right? You rolling. I went through a 4-year process.
Yeah.
That was college one-on-one, even though after year 2, I knew I was ready to play.
Yeah.
So I had to go, I was fortunate enough and unfortunate enough, enough to go to Portland where the city was prepared for a 17-year-old kid out of high school, right? If you came to the city, you wouldn't be able to tell by looking at the billboards, the commercials, that I wasn't playing. So they had this whole thing ready for me to come. They knew that I didn't know how to be a professional.
So that's the reason they did me like that when I got there, man. They had me on their billboard commercial.
But that's what they do, bro.
Yeah.
Shout out to the Allen family, the Portland Trailblazers, and the city of Portland, state of Oregon. Right? They just they didn't put any pressure on me to need to perform, even though I felt pressure because obviously, Kevin did it the year before. Cole was doing it in LA. Shout out to Kevin for paving the way, to bring that thing back to, opportunity. People did it before, but he made it a real thing, right? So he's really a grandfather, almost a pioneer for us. But it was rough, man. It was hard. 4 years of transition. I knew I need to get stronger. I know I need to get more skill. Going from the best player on the court my senior year to being the 4th best at my position the very next year. That's on my own team.
Yeah.
Right? But Gary Trent, Sheed Wallace, Sabonis, late great Cliff Robinson, Brian Grant, Detlef Shrimp, so many different, D'Antonio Wingfield, just so many OGs that had an imprint on my transition, right? I didn't know what I didn't know. But once I started to understand, I remember, the funny thing is, I remember Rick Carlisle being on the original staff my rookie year, and he was assigned to me to make sure that I was doing well. So he'll come out, people don't know this, and shout out to the Blazers for keeping us under one roof. I got so disappointed and down about not playing because I felt the pressure from the outside in about not playing. I'm looking at Kobe, looking at, KG,
your
like,
peers.
playing.
Yeah.
Why, so I end up stopped going to the games.
The real games.
The real games. So Rick Carlisle came to the house. He did a phenomenal job. And I remember not letting him in the house.
He rang the doorbell, you left him outside.
Put the chain on the door. Open the door. I'm talking to him through the door. But then I realized it took Gary Trent, Kenny Anderson, and all those guys to say, bro, listen, this league don't care about you. You better get it together.
Yeah.
So right away, I was like, okay, let me change my thought process before I be out of the league as quick as I'm in the league.
Walk me through that. Like when what made you decide that I'm about to stop going to the games? And then like you stopped, like what? How did that go
Ignorance. Ignorance.
Blind leading the blind, right?
Blind leading the blind,
you ain't listening
bro.
to nobody who telling you the real. You just came up with that.
Man, listen, I remember having a conversation with my brother because I had my brother and my cousin and like 6 of my homeboys living with me in a 3-level house, 6 bedrooms. And I'm like, man, I'm feeling a certain way. But in the league, you start feeling a certain way. And as soon as you blink, they looking at something different.
Something else.
Right? And so my brother's like, bro, come on, man, you got to go. I'm saying, nah, they drafted me for a purpose.
Disrespecting me.
Right. This is disrespectful. I can't get in the game at all.
Yeah.
And then realize, man, through that process that I don't know if I can be as successful in Indy if I didn't go through what I went through in Portland. Right. So people don't realize that you have to fail to succeed. Right? Because if everybody was succeeding off the top, they'll never know what it takes to be successful. Right? It wouldn't be a thing of success, right? And so for me, I just like, okay, I get it. So it made me angry, worked harder, competed. Those practices, bro, was like harder than the games. Think about the people that was on those rosters. And Portland changed the teams every year.
Right.
I mean, I ended up playing with Scottie Pippen, Steve Smith.
And they were bringing the best of the best.
Detlef Shrimp every year because they were trying to win a championship. And so I was like, man, wait, where am I going to get this from?
Yeah.
I can't get this on the college campus.
Yeah. What was the process like before you even got drafted? Like, to even go straight out of high school, to even have the courage.
When did you make that decision?
A lot of people don't know about the courage. Because, like, I can think I'm good enough, my homeboy, my mama, but do everybody else consider me good enough? Am I listening to the right people that's if they stroking my ego and get me up here and I'm getting my ass bust? Like, am I really that good enough? And it got to be jump. Like, for me, I was playing against pros already. You know what I'm saying? So I felt like I was good enough to at least be on the level to play. Like, what was your process of, like, man, like, to go to this league, to make this jump, skip college? I'm the #1 player in high school. I know I'm finna go to college and be the man and get all the rocks.
Right.
But to make the jump.
Man, it was a mix of things, bro, honestly, that made me make a decision. One was, like I had a broken upbringing, right? I didn't meet my dad till I was 30 years old, right? And so, I was always struggling with that and bounced around from school to school, and the stabilization happened with Coach Glimp, who became my father figure.
Coach G.
And Coach G, the late, great Coach G.
Great.
And he changed everything from a perspective of vision. And then through the process of my area that I was raised in, I always played with older people, right? And then as I got to like my sophomore year, junior year, then I started playing with Xavier McDaniel, right? And he was fucking people up.
Strong in the motherfucker.
Bro, listen, he was he was the real deal. And he didn't cut any corners towards that process. It seemed like every time he heard something about me and I come in that gym, he reminded me what I'm looking to try to do. So I started playing against him, Tyrone Corbin, college kids, and it was like T. Corbin, man. And there's the leadership with Alex English too. So I had an incredible amount of information and tools that I can use, but it still wasn't enough to make you feel, solidified. I then went to jail probably towards the end of my senior year, a lot of people don't know.
Prison, jail?
I went to jail, but then I was facing 10 years.
4.
So, and this is for every athlete, every young athlete that's out here watching this, every state has a legalized sexual consent age that you can have.
Yes, they do.
No matter what. So I am 17, my girlfriend's 16, girlfriend of 2 years.
Yeah.
Right? Didn't get caught having sex, got caught at the house. The dad pressed charges on me, right? She said it was consensual, but in the state of South Carolina, it doesn't matter what she says. It's what the parent says.
The law.
Right? So I was facing 10 years.
Yeah.
So I get through that process, and I knew, and so I went through a process of having to get reinstated. You got half of the town saying I'm a criminal, I shouldn't play. I shouldn't be allowed to play. Then the other half's like, we behind you.
Yeah.
Right? So it became a very white and black situation in South Carolina, if you know anything about South Carolina. And shout out to South Carolina, because it's the DNA of who I am today. There's a lot of great people back there. But I got back, hyperextended my knee in a gym full of NBA scouts and college coaches. And so I ended up meeting with Rick Pitino, who's really one of my favorite. I would have went to Kentucky more than likely if I'd have went to school. And I remember sitting in the living room with him and my mom, and he was like, "Son, we gonna be good with you, and we gonna be good without you."
Right.
And I dig that. He said, "But if I was knowing what I know about you, I think that you should go pro." And that kind of pushed me. He said, they got you kind of slated between 10 and 17. And that number was strong. Obviously, Sonny Vaccaro had a big imprint on that process back. That's back when it was only 1 or 2 people controlling a lot of
Sonny and George Raveling controlled all
everything. Everything. So whenever they spoke to you, it was real. And Sonny and Pam really led me throughout my high school career as well. And he got involved. He connected me with Arn Tellum, who was my agent my entire career. Shout out to Arn.
Shout out to Arn.
And they had the homework. They gave me they put it on the table and said, "Hey, I promise you, if you go pro, you won't go any further than the 17th pick. 10th through 17th. And it was the most nerve-wracking thing, because back then you couldn't go back.
Right.
Right. You said you going pro.
It's done.
You done. Right. If you don't get drafted, you might as well go find a new occupation.
That's what was scary about it.
How were you as a 17-year-old kid, like you said, like you went through the situation with your girlfriend of 2 years. When that type of situation like that happens, as a 17-year-old that's got everything you got on the line, how did that impact you? What was your thought process? Like you said, you looking at 10 years. I don't even know what the hell that feel like. Like, what were you going through mentally at that point?
Man, I think the thing that I remember the most about it, because this happened on like a Wednesday or Thursday. It was after practice. I lied first and foremost to get out of practice to go to her house. Right, so you should stay on course, right? Don't be lying to get out of damn practice to go see your girlfriend. So I ended up going. I remember like that Saturday, it happened, and then I ended up going back home. And that Saturday, I just woke up to my mom, hear my mom's yelling and crying. It was on the news at that point. So, everything that you dream about is right there on the line.
Hanging in the balance.
It go from like, okay, he's possibly going pro this year to he's probably going to prison.
Right.
Right. And that's a hard pill to swallow, bro. I mean, and I'm like, well, how many years? 10.
Yeah.
That's crazy. But, it was one of those things where I learned a lot, man, and it put a lot of things in perspective for me.
When you was coming up in high school, like, when did you know, like, I'm the man, I'm the one, like, I'm not just the one in South Carolina, I'm not just the one in my town, I'm the one everywhere. And you in one of the best classes ever. Best McDonald's, one of the best McDonald's games, you know what I'm saying, classes ever. Like, it's heat out there. It's guys out there that's really, really good, and guys that's Hall of Famers now.
Yeah.
Like, when did you know, like, yeah, I'm it?
I don't even think I looked at it like that. I think the first time that I really was like, damn, this is a real thing, is they had to start selling season tickets to my high school games. And then all of my high school games start getting moved from my high school gym to
arenas.
Like to arenas.
Oh, they pre-ordering your shit.
Right, that's what I'm saying. So that was like the moment I was like, damn, like
pre-ordering.
like, I think I'm pretty good. Right. And a lot of people don't realize I never played a full high school game. My high school coach would never let us break. We'd never score 90. He always had this thing about scores. He'll go 4 corners and would never play a whole high school game. So the numbers are all, it's crazy. They never played a whole high school game.
You brought it up. I wanna get into it. The first time I ever met the great George Glimpf, right? I had no clue he had nothing to do with Jermaine O'Neal. I was in NBA camp. Anybody know anything about Coach Glimpf, he's the acronym king. To my boys, QJ and Cruzy, every day I call him MMM. Y'all, my main man. Now you, for a fact, know exactly where they come from. That's a Coach G-ism.
Yeah.
This dude, one of the best human beings put on this planet. I don't care who he met, how long he met you, you remember it.
His presence will come rub off on.
You remember Coach G. He's that type of person that his spirit and everything was that rich and that good that you were drawn to him. So just talk about Coach G and when you met him and how much he impacted you in your life and your career.
Bro, it's like it's so many in our upbringings, in our hoods, in our inner cities, it's so broken in so many ways, right?
Facts.
And we have so many deficiencies as people, right? As we grow through this process, and I was going through a process where I had this abandonment issue that I actually battled my entire career, right? When I see, a peer who has his father after the game to talk to. And one of the biggest things for me is that I've always had to figure it out on my own, right? My mother's just phenomenal as a woman, strong Black woman on top of it. But it's just a certain level that she can never reach.
Yeah.
Right? That only males can reach. And, Coach Glimpf became a father figure, right? As hard as he was on me and others, he treated everybody the same way. Right? And even sometimes when he sees something real special in you, he gonna turn the volume up. Right? On this aggression towards discipline. And he ran it like, many people thought it was like a boot camp. But when I look back at it, the discipline, can we ride on a bus to a game, not talk? Walk into an arena, single file line, that's crowded, people going crazy, don't say a word. We were not allowed to talk. He wanted us to focus on the game and visualize what we're about to do. Now we got to go through leaving the high school, right? Locker room quiet. Get on the bus quiet. Going into another gym quiet. Going into the locker. We're allowed to talk 3 minutes before we went out for the jump ball. For the warm-up line. And when I look at that, and I look at all of the level of things that he did. Grade sheets every week, making sure that we were doing what we supposed to be doing in class. He filled the void in many of us, right? If we don't have him, he doesn't make the basketball team be the cross-country team. We're going to school at 8:30. We ain't getting home at 8:39 p.m. 8:30 a.m., 9:30 p.m. because he wanted to keep us out of the streets.
You ain't got no time for no bullshit.
Yeah, so
you need this price. You going straight home, get some ego sleep.
Too tired, right? You too tired.
Too tired.
Bro, you don't been out. You don't been up at school all day, and it was what he means and meant to me, because obviously he just passed. I don't know if I can describe that because he always gave it to me at the level that the rest of the world wouldn't give it to me. Right? And it was raw, it was real, it was honest, it was from love, right? And I never had a male do that to me, right? And so everything that I go through, everything I went through in the league and now giving back to the kids in my communities, whether it's South Carolina, whether it's here in Dallas at Drive Nation or whatever it may be, I'm teaching them how I was taught. Right, and then giving them some experiences.
You ain't as tough as they used to be, but you're a little lighter.
Man,
they can't take the toughness how we took back in the day.
But that's a whole nother conversation with these kids. Like, But you know, he's the OG of OGs. He's impacted so many people, bro, that is not even
it's crazy,
not even documented. I mean, he's a giant that we lost from our world, and he's gonna be greatly missed.
I want to ask you, did you ever get a chance to play against Ticket in your earlier play, like your sophomore?
I played against
Carolina?
Ticket. Played against KG in Chicago at the Nike All-American camp.
Oh, okay.
Never played against him in high school. People think he's from Chicago. He ain't from Chicago.
No, right. South Carolina.
From South Carolina.
Yeah.
He spent his last year in Chicago, but they wasn't good enough.
Oh,
he was all world.
Yeah,
but his team wasn't good enough, so we never met him. So they would lose early, but it was just him on this team, and it was no way at that time in South Carolina where we had Ray Allen and Shimon Williams and so many other players. BJ Mack.
Speak that South Carolina talk. They don't know,
Bud
man.
Johnson,
The boys
everybody.
came out of South Carolina,
man,
boy.
Listen, brother, come on now. That's why I told the mayor down there. I said, look, we got to get this right. We got to get this city right. There's too many products that are coming out of there: football, baseball, basketball. Just some monsters coming out there, and it's been coming out there.
When it be small like that, that's why when one do come out, he be an absolute monster.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Just to even get out of that environment.
Yep.
Like to just get out of there is he always be good. He the best. It's something about that person.
But it's so funny though, is that I heard the legend of him and never saw him in person because I was like, well, okay, is he that good? Man, we got Chicago, and I was like, oh, okay.
It's official.
Yeah, he's a dog.
Yeah.
He's a dog.
Well, you got to Eau Claire. You told the coach, is this Coach G? You told him you're going to be the best player ever there?
Yeah, so it's actually Eau Claire.
How did that go there?
Eau Claire. I want the people hitting you in the inbox.
Yeah, don't have them getting at me. I'm sorry. He fixed it.
Eau Claire. Yeah, it's bro, I always believed had this thing with like speaking things in existence. My family's very religious, right? So, mom always said, be careful what you say. Say because what you say, words are a powerful thing. So I had this thing where I used to carry around Monopoly money all the time, and I'd be handing that shit out like it was real money. So my brother slapping it out of my hand. I'm like, bro, listen, I'm trying to tell you this gonna become real money. So I go to high school, and I go into Coach Glimp's room for the basketball meeting. I got 2 earrings in. I got my pants hanging down. Coach came and was like, brother, what you doing? I said, Coach, I'm gonna be the best player you ever coached. I had no idea.
Right.
Bro, I was terrible. Like, had to take dance classes to learn 1, 2. Like, literally. Shout out to Louis Dreer, who's the assistant coach and the head JV coach, who really took the time to really start setting that foundation.
Putting that work in.
And so he didn't give up on me. I had this crazy growth spurt from 6'2" to 6'11" in 3 months. Right, and so
it's crazy. He went from point guard to
from guard to center.
Damn, guard to center. What your mama doing for your clothes,
bro? Listen,
she was feeding you,
right? Boys wearing cut off
real issue.
Like back then, our mom was cutting jeans off and making them jean shorts.
Oh yeah. Or
so I had a lot of that.
Snapping on you because you too tough.
See, this is the thing that people sleep on about this 6'11", 7 foot. His feet, he ain't got no Dikembe Mutombos out there.
You got these D-Miles 18?
Nah, bro.
These 18s
let me tell you,
man.
I'm every bit of 6'5" and a half, 6'6". My foot bigger than his. This is an anomaly of the world.
I was like
here.
13. I was like a 13, 14 in high school.
What you were today?
I was 15.
How, Sway?
How motivational was KG and his process that year before? South Carolina kid like you, going straight out of high school. And I used to be intrigued. I don't know if it's you. I used to be intrigued of seeing somebody like, not to be that way, a real dark-skinned dude, our color. How motivating was him to you, like, in your process and, like, the hype that you used to hear about him, the moves he made, the good year he had his rookie year of playing, him going the highest ever. Like, how motivating was that for you?
Man, I think it was. That's a great question, bro. Because I remember sitting on the couch with my brother, watching the draft, and obviously I heard a lot about him, and I had got a chance to play against him in Chicago, but it wasn't really real until the draft, right? Watching that draft, and I'm like, damn.
different.
To the league.
This boy going to the NBA, right? And I wasn't old enough to know about the OGs beforehand, right? Even with Sean Kemp, because I was a big fan of Sean Kemp.
I didn't know that either at the time.
Right.
As a young boy, we didn't know he didn't go to college
right.
for real.
He went to I think a community college or something like that.
Haywood even was back then.
Yeah.
We didn't know about him.
Shout out to Spencer Haywood.
Yeah. He was the real pioneer.
We're really setting the legal aspects for us, but KG made it was a cool factor and it was a real factor because it happened, right? They talked about it, he did it, and I remember sitting on the couch, it was like, bro, I'm gonna do this next year. I just told him I'm gonna do this next year. Not knowing what it all entailed.
Right. Year would go or anything like
didn't know any of that. I just spoke it into existence. That's what I believed. I knew based off playing against him and being around him, in Chicago for the period of time we were together, is that I knew the level of competitor he was. So I wasn't really shocked that he did what he did. Now, I don't think anybody thought at that time that a high school player can come in and be that flamboyant, that successful,
that rowdy, that loud.
Yeah. And because then you kind of say, man, I'm gonna take a little bit out of his ingredient pool and I'm gonna put it into me. Right? Already aggressive by nature, the area I was raised in. So I just had to put a little bit of that of his success into what I was trying to create because I didn't at the time. I wasn't whole. Yeah. Right. I was still trying to figure this shit out myself. Yeah. So, it was just he gave us a lot of confidence. Even with I remember having a conversation with Tim Thomas, and Tim Thomas was probably more skilled than Kevin Garnett.
World in high school.
Yeah, all world.
Tim Thomas legend?
Yes. Yes, he was a monster. And that was like my brother. So me, him, and Kobe in the same class, and Steven Jackson and Rip Hamilton. So we were all kind of like in the same.
Chauncey, all of them.
Yeah, like we in the same little thing. And I was like, man, I remember me and Tim was talking about it. I said, bro, what you gonna do? He said, man, I don't know, but I think I'm gonna go to school. Yeah. I said, well, shit, bro, I don't think I'm going to school. Yeah. Right. And it just happened. Everything panned out from the going to jail to the charge and all that other stuff. It just made sense at the time.
It's crazy you say that because like Tim Thomas, like that was the myth. That was the person that you always heard about. That was the top
another black ass player.
That was the top player in our class that even with Kobe, you and Kobe going straight out of high school, I feel like everybody expected Tim Thomas to be the one.
He would have been drafted. He probably would have been drafted the highest.
I think so too.
He was slotted top 7.
Like just like as far as like the prospect type.
Yeah, but you remember back then it had the like every week the rankings changed. Yeah. It was based off success of what you did personally and what your team did. So it was it was Street and Smith. Street and Smith. So it was always so I'm always peeking at what Cole was doing, what Tim was doing, and me and Tim actually got a chance to play against each other a lot in high school. So I was real familiar with him, and I remember first playing with him against Patterson Catholic down in Murder Beach, South Carolina. I was like, who in the fuck is this?
Kevin Freeman. Kevin, like I'm telling you, they came to Chicago, bro. Hoops in the Loop Classic. That was when I knew. I was like, yo, this hoop shit, high school shit, crazy. Like, when I saw Tim Thomas at 6'10" come down that bitch, bouncing that head, goddamn. That boy had the easiest 30 in like 16 you ever saw, and then you had Kevin Freeman have like 18 on all kaboom.
All kaboom.
Some come out the rim, he all over. I was like, yo, what's happening out here? Like, what I'm looking at?
He was so good that I think he was too good for high school.
Yes.
Right, he was like, he was like he was just fucking around and getting 30. And I remember guarding him and we were just kind of going back and forth. I said, this boy stopping at the 3-point line. This boy
he ain't coming nowhere near the paint.
Bro, this boy tough. He was tough, though.
Let me ask you a funny question. When you got drafted and you was in the league, how many people used to walk up to you and be like, are you Shaq, little brother?
As an old no. Here's the funniest thing, bro. So that did happen, right? But the thing that happened the most, my first 2 or 3 years, I remember being in LA on Rodeo Drive, and I ain't playing, and I'm walking around by myself, and I hear somebody yelling like, "Hey!" And so I turn around, and I see him come. I said, "Damn, somebody recognized me." Hell yeah! So kid run up to me. And it's like, yeah, can you sign this? And I said, okay, cool. So I got ready to sign. He's like, well, he said, when you guys going back to Seattle? I said, what you mean? He's like, Ken Griffey, right? I was crushed.
Wait a minute.
He thought you Ken
Hey,
Griffey. That's a big ass Ken Griffey.
Listen, I wanted to tear the shit. I want to tear it all up.
You could went a lot of ways. I wasn't expecting you to say Ken Griffey right there. That was a throw-off.
Ken Griffey, bruh, and I was crushed. I went on back to my room and laid it down.
Yeah, you know they used to mistake me Plaxico Burress. They always used to say I look like Plaxico. They be like Plaxico.
That's pretty good. I mean, both y'all had braids. That's pretty, you know.
It's all black people don't look alike. All black people don't look alike.
How was your draft process?
It was my draft process was pretty good, man. Like I didn't.
How many teams you work out for?
I worked out for every team that was between 10th and 17.
Oh.
Okay. I didn't go to the pre-draft stuff because they didn't want me playing on the team and then not performing well. So everything we did was private, either individual or they aligned me with another player so I can play one-on-one with them.
Who was some of the players you played against? Did you play against any of the high picks or anything like that?
I want to say, man, I want to say it might have been a Gauskas. What's the boy? What's a big strong one that Potapinko?
Patali,
yeah.
Yeah.
I think I remember him.
She went to Boston, right?
Yeah, went to Boston. I can't remember all the guys I played against, but it was a bunch of the first rounders. And I remember saying to myself, damn, I just got to watch these boys on television.
Yeah.
Like, so it was one of those processes where I just like, you know, I knew if I got a chance to go, you know, one-on-one with them, I'll play him. You
declare, I'm coming out straight out of high school. How do you feel in that moment when you shake David Stern's hand?
So honestly, I was too nervous to go.
You didn't go to the draft?
Oh, you didn't go.
You sure didn't go
to the draft.
So
what, you was at the crib?
I was at the crib.
Kobe went to the draft.
You got your name called. Oh, that's even different though, because at the crib it's a different vibe. So what was that like for you?
Yeah, I needed to have the people that I loved the most around me at the time because it wasn't no guarantee that name was gonna be called. So I'm like pacing and I'm like, bro, like I was cool.
Back and forth.
The first, and I'm just gonna tell you, in that '96 draft, bro, like I was really solid. And then every week, once this college season was over, another person declared.
You like, oh, shit.
So I'm looking like, oh, Lord. And so it was like, okay, I went from like, okay, he can be a top 10 pick to every week. Okay, he's a top 9 pick. Top 10. And he said, oh, no, he's going to be between 10 and 20 now. Then when we got towards the end, Portland said that guaranteed if he falls at 17, we will take him. So that's when I was like, okay, cool. But it still wasn't no guarantee because my agent's like, just sit still. They had a little phone right next to him, said when it rings, that's it. Now, at the time, Charlotte had, I think, 2 or 3 picks in that first round.
Did you want to go there?
I wanted to go there because it was Carolina, and I was like, damn. Then when they took Kobe, I was like, okay, they ain't gonna take me. They ain't gonna take 2 high school players.
Right.
And then I got a call when I don't know who went 16th. I think it might have been. I forgot who went 16th right before me. I got the call from my agent. He said, they're about to draft you. And then I said, okay, cool. So they draft me. I'm excited, everybody. And then I called the Blazers, and they having like a viewing party, and people booing and shit.
What does that feel like?
But hey, listen, it's been the underdog feeling from day one.
That right away puts you in a position like you hearing that, like, oh, okay.
So it's like again, when you look at the elements across from the time I was a little boy, from my dad's I go back to that abandonment shit. Like, you the underdog. Like, he didn't want me. I wasn't good enough. He didn't want me. So when I look at my process of everything that I went through, that those ingredients of abandonment jumps back into the fray. And I got to find myself working extra hard.
They kept that chip on your shoulder.
To prove myself. And so that was the moment where I was like, okay, all right, so here we go. They don't want me here. John Wallace got drafted after me. We knew the year that he had at Syracuse that year.
Nice.
They wanted him at the time. So I was like, okay, they don't want me here. Let me go figure it out. And it all just panned itself out. But it was like the best time because I don't know how I would emotionally worked in New York.
When you got to Indiana and your your experience from the play, did you feel like you had something to prove to the league and everybody that you was an all-star, you was good? Because, like, I knew who you was because, I watched all the guys straight out of high school, but you never ever got a chance to play.
Yeah.
But when we got to the league, when I really knew who you was, when we played in L.A., I felt like I in and out you at half court, and I'm like, yeah, I done passed him up. He ain't even there. And you caught my shit at the rim, and I fell on my back, and that was the first time ever in my life that somebody blocked my dunk.
But I think that might have been the same game because it's funny because I heard about you, and he's like the kid that's always on skates. Like he dribbling on skates. So that's all I ever heard. It's like he run around, he handling, but he on skates, literally skates.
Yeah, I used to dribble on skates. That's how I learned how to dribble.
And so I was like, okay, let me see this. And I think that might be the same game that you actually dunked on.
No, that was preseason.
That was in
preseason.
I'll tell you exactly where it was at.
In
Detroit? No.
That was in Indiana.
That was in Detroit.
Indiana State. That's what it was at. I got it on tape.
Oakland.
No, it's an Indiana State preseason game.
I know it was definitely at a bullshit gym. I thought it was Oakland in Detroit. I thought it was
Indiana
I didn't think it was Indiana State. I thought it was Oakland.
Yeah.
That's when, look, this motherfucker 180. He gonna act like he was motherfucking Thanos coming down lane. He dunked that bitch and y'all got tangled up. He looked like a motherfucking a stick figure throwing somebody up off of him. And it was listen, we couldn't forget that dunk for so long. Like, he talked about that because
listen.
He was him, and it was the biggest shit that happened so far. So we were like, damn.
What I remember the most, though, but like when we played during the season, the Clipper game, like I say, like, I in and out you at half court, and you blocked the shot. And then when you blocked my dunk, I really been paying attention to you and your game ever since then. And the reason I like you so much, because you like your favorite baller's favorite baller. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, we say the Rasheed, we say the Webbers, we say the KGs, we say the Duncan, but I feel like your name don't get brought up enough because you was on the Eastern Conference, and you used to bust everybody ass. And the reason that the Indiana Pacers was at that level because they had a dominant big man in a dominant big man era.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
100%, bro. 100%, and I appreciate that, man. I think, one of the things that, first of all, when I came out of Portland, I was mad.
Yeah.
I was pissed off because if you go back and you look at it, like, as supposedly, you're supposed to be going up as you get older.
Yeah.
But if you go and you Google, like, my numbers and my time was going down.
Yeah.
And I could not understand it for the life of me. I'm out here outplaying the people that's playing in front of me.
Yeah.
Right, my third and fourth year, I knew clear cut.
Yeah.
I was a starter and I was
Every
ready to
time
go.
they put you in the game, you did what you supposed to
and
do.
I'm chasing, right?
Yeah.
I'm pissed off. I said, if they're going to play me 3-4 minutes, I'm about to go out here. I'm about to give them my best shit.
Yeah.
So when I got to, and this crazy story, I remember being in, I was in Oakland for the crazy dunk contest with Vince. So I remember I was in the convention center. And so I was walking down the hall, and Zeke was coming. Isaiah Thomas was coming. And I said, oh, shit, that's Isaiah Thomas, right? And I watched him all my life. He stops and grabbed me. He was like, he said, keep doing what you're doing. He said, people see it. He said, keep going. And I said, all right, coach, I appreciate it. And I said, hey, Zeke, I appreciate that. Bro, not even 6 months later, he gets the job.
I'm coming to get you.
First thing he did was trade for me. Right? And so he called me. He's like, I told you. He said, your time is coming. Now it's gonna be up to you. And so when I get there, like I'm angry as fuck because back then, the rookie scale was 3 years, right? I had an opportunity to go be a starter with 3 other teams. We lose against San Antonio when Sean Elliott doesn't test that
tiptoe.
Yeah, like bruh, he caught the ball and tiptoe shot a 3. And so I said, you know what? I'm gonna go back because we're that close to winning the championship. I'm young. I'm 19, 20 years old. I can go back and be a starter some other time. Promise me, Mike Dunleavy promised me that I would play at least 24 minutes a game. It got worse. So I'm already like, damn, I just signed a 4-year deal. They fucking me over. It's clear cut. So when I get traded, and shout out to Arn Tellum and Sonny and those guys for working that deal because I was about to sit out full season. I was about to sit out a full season because at that point I felt like it was intentional.
Yeah.
Right, they wasn't even trying to even look at, if people take away my first 4 years, which I don't want to personally take away my first 4 years, numbers-wise, look at what the rest of the numbers look like.
You are, man, like I said, that's why I always love talking about you and bringing your name up because, this is it's a popular league. Some cats are more popular than you and all that stuff.
But let me go a step further though. I think the problem in Indiana was an acceptance, right? So we had this bravado about ourselves that once the brawl happened, everything changed, right? It's like it's like the league at the time was ready to erase everything, no matter what you did. Right? I remember going down to the All-Star game as a starter, and my picture ain't nowhere to be found. Period.
Yeah.
Right? I led the league in blocks.
Definitely did.
And don't make a all-defensive team.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I averaged 2 blocks a game for 11 straight years and have never made an all-defensive team.
Man, you supposed maybe won a defensive player of the year.
Bro, listen, and so when we talk about and I don't, I'm never gonna be a social media guy being on there talking about that shit. But like when that comes up, and people's like, well, why it's like this acceptance of me, like through that brawl process. It's like nobody never wanted to even follow through with anything else, right?
Yeah.
The lawsuit that I won.
Yeah.
Right. None of that. They didn't want to
they'll
go
never
back.
Tell you the good thing of what happened.
They were
just bashing.
They wanted to put me in the box on like, this is how we perceive him for the rest of his career. Right. And the fact of the matter is that I really, bruh, that after that particular situation happened, I stopped loving basketball. Right. Think about like if you go and you pour into your wife, you give them everything that you got. Like Indiana, I gave everything that I had on and off the court, right? Putting money into the communities, right? Doing a ton of stuff.
Yeah.
And you watch it do you wrong right in front of your face. It cut me so deep, bro. You have no idea.
Yeah. It makes you want to be rebellious.
Bro, I was so hurt because it's like nobody wants to see what the truth is. Right now, I'm the out of control black guy that's beating up white fans,
right?
And you don't even know what the deal was, right? And so when I look past that and all the stuff that was happening, and it's like, nah, no matter what he doing, he ain't good enough no more.
Was there a point in that process where you felt like, okay, I'm being judged, I'm being looked at like this, but if I do these things and need, like you say, win a lawsuit, this, that, and third, did you think that something was gonna change and then you saw it didn't and that like made you more like y'all don't even see nothing?
I don't know, bro, honestly, I don't know what I expected to change. Right? I didn't know that a situation that happens, you're judged for life.
Yeah.
Right.
Right. I was judged for life. I mean, it's crazy because it's interesting. When you look at these even situations to date, right, where I've been retired for 8 years, and with the accomplishments that I've had through the process of my career, I have not even made the ballot. Like, let's put aside making the Hall of Fame. I've not made the ballot. Right? So it's people that have been on the ballot, and hell, they even got in with 2 All-Stars or 3 All-Stars. Right? That has not happened.
You know where when you just said that, it took my mind to Big Dog, Glenn Robinson. Same difference. He held firm and held out, and he's basically one of the reasons that we have a rookie scale, and he got, got what he got, and arguably, whatever different opinions, he should have been Rookie of the Year over Grant Hill and J. Kidd.
Yeah.
But
definitely should.
He was made an example of, like, we spoke to him. We had him on the show, and he told, like, he didn't get nowhere near the accolades he should have got because he had a mark on his back from that moment. Like, you did this.
Yeah.
And we gonna make you see it through. And, like, pretty much, like, even now when you look at it, you don't really you don't hear nothing about. They don't champion big. They're like, man, that motherfucker was a dude.
Yeah, no,
Like
he's a monster.
what? Big Dog Robinson?
He was a monster. I think, and two, like we understood. Like I always understood what that that whole situation was, and again, I knew that it was going to be something, a fallout, some punishment, right? Yeah. Everybody's involved. You gotta. It's a level of punishment that has to happen, but it's not.
But I don't understand. Like I don't understand what else you supposed to do. Like what else in that situation? What else you supposed to do but protect yourself and your family? Like I got people to live for. I don't know what's going on.
I sat in the federal court on this federal stand and watch a prosecutor ask me, and this is on record, would you do what you did if you put in that same position again? So I said to him, I said, well, let me ask you this question. If one of those chairs that, by the way, wasn't all shown, hit me in my head and kill me, would you be the one that go to my family and tell them that their dad is and their husband is dead? I said, if I'm put in that exact same position where I got to protect myself and others, I'm doing the same thing.
That's who I roll here with.
Right. So people talk about leadership in sports. Like they only or in life, they talk about it from perspective of corporate America offices or in the locker room or on the bus in the hotel. They don't talk about leadership when it's compromising of your life. Right? They don't understand that.
They don't know.
They don't understand that, right? They don't know that perspective. Right? But when you're in a situation where people are bearing down on you and nobody is helping you, you're gonna crack every single thing. Right? And so by nature, with me, I mean, we played together. You know how I am. I'm like, hey, how you doing?
Yeah.
Type of guy. But I will fuck you up.
Yeah.
I will fuck you up if you compromise me.
Straight up.
Right. That's the nature that's all I know.
Yeah.
Right. But nobody wants to be judged off of a situation like that, and then the work that you continue to put in, and you watch it basically continue to be.
Yeah. We talking about a situation that you had to defend yourself. Like, is that the other way around where you starting it or you brought the attention to yourself? You have to defend yourself, and that's the fucked up part about it. It's like you penalizing me for protecting myself.
100%, bro. And even beyond, once we get beyond that, bro, I remember, shout out to my man Dedrick Faison, who's been my business manager for 20 plus years. I remember having this conversation. I stopped when I stopped loving basketball. My body started to deteriorate. Right, because my mind and my feelings was different.
Yeah.
Right, I was doing it because I was supposed to do it. Right, not because I loved to do it anymore. I didn't love it anymore because it would just, and I watched my body just completely just break down on me because I just wasn't locked in. So these things that these are life lessons that I now get a chance to tell my daughter, my son, and many others now about this kind of like. These are tools and information that we can now
the mental
use.
aspect of it. You gotta think of it a whole nother way. It's like that can mentally be draining to you. Like, people die of depression. People die of stress. You know what I'm saying? That can mentally break your body all the way down, and people don't know that.
And nobody's talking about back then. You talking about mental health.
They weren't saying that back then.
Man,
you weak.
You
weak or you crazy if you have that type of feeling.
Tell me this, like when Zeke come calling and he bring you, trade Dale Davis for you, you go on to lead the leagues in blocks for the first year, and you know what I'm saying? You see some type of success. Like, what is your feeling then? Like how are you after that first season? You played, 80 out of the 81 games. You balling out, like you really, like now you starting to see something. Like, what was your feeling after that year? Got a coach believing in you?
Well, it's two things that happened. Outside of Isaiah and Donnie Walsh really believing in me. The first day I got to Indianapolis, I was at Champs right on the corner downtown.
I know what you're talking about.
Right across from the Conrad, right? And I remember like going in there and I heard like the lady was like, they were sitting literally right next to me. And it was like, man, that's who they traded Dale Davis for.
They love Dale Davis.
Right,
Davis
and
boys.
shout
They
out
love
to
them
Dale.
Davis boys.
Yeah, Dale did his thing.
Yeah.
Him and AD did their thing, and I understood why they felt. And they just came off a finals appearance, just a month or so beforehand.
Yeah.
So I knew it, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna turn this shit up on them. Right, I'm gonna give them a reason. And the first time I got a chance to talk to Reggie Miller, and he was like, I'm expecting this man to be like, fuck that. We don't trade it. This guy, we just came off
young guy.
Got all these young guys and unproven guys. And he was like, I'm gonna let you be whatever you want to be.
That's all you needed.
As long as you work hard for it.
That's all you needed.
I was like, bingo. Like Reggie meant a lot to me, bro, in Indy. He meant a lot. That's why I wanted to sit next to him so I can listen to him, I can hear him. Right. Yeah. And when he said that, it was like, okay, now it's about to work now. Let's put the work in.
How was them like, cause like the East Coast, you didn't have more the dominance power forwards was more in the West. How was them West Coast trips when you had to go to Portland and play Rasheed, then go to Sac, then play Weber, then go to Minnesota and play KG, then swing on through San Antonio and get some of that dunking? Because these are the guys, you're not playing, you play 4 games in the East Coast against these guys. These guys that you playing on the West Coast, it's only 2 games. So these are capitalized games that are like, yeah, I'm finna show them that shit, this is it. How was them West Coast swings for y'all? Because y'all used to come through and kick ass. I ain't like y'all used to come through and make y'all mark in that mug.
Well, it was, I think at the time, I think the entire so the West had the premier names.
Yeah.
The East still had people like Elton Brand, right? Who would get busy, would get busy, even with Kenyon Martin and those guys in Jersey, right? It would just, every team has forwards that really pushed you because it was, back then, like it was like people really didn't like each other.
Yes, they did.
Like teams did not like each other.
It was real physical out there.
Bro, listen, bro. Like, and it was like no hugging after games. People,
no jersey,
no jersey swaps,
no none of that. Like you had to really bring it. And I remember, like, to go back to your question, I remember it's certain games I'll look at, and I'll be like, "Yep, this is gonna be a early dinner." Get my rest night.
Gonna be one.
It's gonna be one of those, right? Because I knew, Dirk was probably the hardest cover because of his size and his ability to shoot off both feet, stop on the dime, pull up, right? He released that thing so high you couldn't block it. But obviously, Tim is Tim, man. He, straight fundamentals. Ticket was just more matching his energy. Got to match his energy all the time. C-Webb was just strong, skilled. I mean, it was a beast of a thing, bruh. And for me, as a youngster at the time, it was more about learning from him.
Yeah.
Competing at the highest level, but still learning from him. I remember we was in SAC, and I think I might have had 40, and C-Webb had 53. Right? And so, and it's like one of those things where I'm like, okay, that ain't good enough.
Yeah.
Right. I gotta turn it up.
Turn it up.
Right. Because if you get 40, you give up 53.
Yeah.
Right.
Power forward was dominating the league at that time. You know, that was the position that you seeing somebody every single fucking night.
Every night.
Like you wasn't no days off.
Yep.
Really for you.
Yep. At all.
You always want to say that. Let's talk about
It's the truth, though. I mean,
y'all was all right.
At the time, like shit, everybody had a dominant power forward or somebody a power forward they'll bring in.
Point guard too, but that was
no, not in that era, because like you'll have a night off. You'll have a night off with in different positions. In that specific position at the time, it was a lot of dogs, and if you didn't have a dog, you had an extra strong motherfucker that's gonna beat your ass up.
Extra strong. Extra strong.
You said to me like, I don't know, I was guarded by
I played power forward. You didn't play power forward.
I was defended by fours. The Brian Grants, the Anthony Masons.
No, you got a player too.
It was a player.
You can't
say that right now. We can't be honest. We being real, right?
We're not being honest.
Okay.
Power forward wasn't guarding you all game. They switch off on you.
After your first year you get there, you didn't start at 80, 81 games, you balled out, led the league in blocks. Next year you come back encore. NBA Most Improved? How that feel? Like when anybody win any award in the NBA, you done did some shit. Like how did your pride swell and how did you feel about where you were going and what you were doing at that point?
Bro, honestly, I was still angry.
Yeah. Yeah.
Bro, I was
something
still angry, bro.
So wait, let me ask you this. So you was one of the people that you didn't want no fucking Most Improved. You felt like you was already that dude. You should be doing some other shit.
No, I think so yeah, so you accept the award because you do feel like that's an accomplishment. I think I never blinked at the time because I had went through 4 years of hell. Right, and I heard what people were saying. He ain't good enough. It wasn't that I wasn't good enough. I just didn't get the chance.
Didn't get the opportunity.
Right, and I remember like, bro, I still got this thing to this very day, and this is what I ride with my son on, is I got this article, and my mom framed it for me, and it was from a dude named Bob Bass, and he was like executive for the Charlotte Hornets. And this man wrote an article on me, bro, that was so vicious, bro. I had never met this man a day in my life. That he said everything, the team would be stupid to draft me. He'd be done in 2 or 3 years whenever the rookie deal is up. You know, he can't hold this guy's shoes. He's not this, he's not that. And so I always resorted back to that article. So no matter what situation I was in, whether, you know, Portland not playing or whatever it is, I always resorted back to that article. Like, this is what they're saying, right? So I got to know I know who I am, but through my process of knowing who I am, I'm going to go quiet everybody else who's saying that shit, right? And then I realized, it's funny that we've been talking about this. I remember the year I was up for MVP, it was an article written about me about lack of leadership. And I was like, oh, this is what this is. They're always going to find something to say, and there's nothing that you can do to quiet. You know, so that anger and that madness that I carried around, I let go. And I said, look, let me just enjoy playing this thing, right? Let me just enjoy playing the game. And that's when I started transitioning my mind to stop being mad all the damn time.
See, that's what I was about to say, because you telling me about all this anger. When I played with him, I could see you was still, it ain't no not seeing he with the shit. You gonna see that. But like, not some angry, mad-ass dude. I remember, I'm gonna tell you the story one time when I was like, this was early in the year. We with the Heat. You had been there for like half the season before, because you got traded for Triggs and Banks and them. So you was there like halfway, but you still like where everybody was kind of still getting to know whatever. Spo don't be on that bullshit. Spo was doing whatever, telling us whatever, this, that, and the third, was checking motherfuckers. I'm sitting here, I'm brand new. This my first year. You know, I done came in through the back door, lost 50 pounds. You shut your ass up. Yes sir, no sir. That's how I'm sitting here. I still got it in me, Black, but I ain't showing. I'm on good behavior. I'm on my best behavior. I'm sitting here, Spo at the board, he's saying whatever. I'm like in the, I don't know, middle row or something. J.O. sitting up there on the front row. Man, J.O. voice come out of nowhere. What the fuck is going on, man? You doing a lot of nitpicking and shit, Spo. What the fuck? I was like, oh. Man, Spo got to say shit because I was like, man, I look at D-Rod, I look at D-Wade, I'm looking, I said, oh, shit, it's real up in here, boy. Like, you know, I look, we get out there, we get on the court. So I go to D-Rod, you know, that's my bro. I'm like, hey, Joe kind of crazy, huh? He like, man, bro. Like, you know, D-Right, like, man, bro. Like I ain't got shit to do.
J.O. calling that shit out.
Bro, when he said that, though, it was the way he said it.
Man, shout out to Eric Spoelstra.
Man, Eric Spoelstra.
One of the realest ones
coach,
out there,
One of the realest coaches out there. I don't think people talk enough about the jobs that he's been doing since he got that job.
He should have won Coach of the Year this year.
I'm glad he got top 15 all time. He got it. He got his credit now. He top 15 all time now. They seen the light.
Yeah, he should win Coach of the Year.
You cold now. You cold.
He just
from the video room, boy.
Yeah, he did it.
That's out the video room to the mountaintop.
Yep.
Bitch, that boy cold.
How was it your first All-Star game? Like the first time you got selected to it, and like how did you feel? Like you feel?
What was it?
It was in Philly.
Well, we was there.
We was in Philly our second year. Yeah.
I'm gonna let him talk. I swear to God, I got a story for it. Go
ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was that was like the moment. That was like the moment where I was like, damn, like this is what we've been working on.
Yeah.
Right. We've been working on this whole process of, you know, when I thought about it thought about going pro. Like I wanted to be an all-star, right? And then you get there and it's like you in the room with
you walk
everybody.
in that locker room. It's like,
boy, you in that room with everybody, man. And I remember, just sitting there saying, so part of that you have to come to conclusion that you are part of them as well.
There it is.
Yeah, you supposed to be
right.
there.
Yeah, you supposed to be there. You sitting back and you like, damn, this is the best of the best in here, right? And then you have to try to create your swagger amongst a bunch of swaggers, right? And then as your first year, you got the OGs in there, and the OGs always yelling and talking. And I remember the next year, MJ was coming, and I was like, yo, like you can hear him coming.
Was he glowing when he walked in?
Bro, like, listen, you hear him, like the cameras and the noise, you hear him coming down the hall, and it's so funny because all of us in there sitting, now we feel like we big dogs too. MJ walking there, it's quiet.
And get puppy in there.
Listen, this is the cold thing.
He walking by like this, and
Mike make all the big dogs be like
straight up.
It's him.
Listen, dog. MJ was that was like the real out of all.
That's how I felt
that
the
was
top
it.
75 went. When we was watching that on TV, it was like then you find out nobody knew Mike was coming. It was like when Mike slid through, it was like the motherfucking mic drop. Like this is top. This is the best
Standing
ever doing.
ovation,
Everybody like, oh, there go Mike. They're like, yeah, Mike. Like get the fuck out of here, dog. That's crazy.
No, Mike is different, bro. Like it's.
Let me give you the story from when we was in Philly. You remember this? Yeah. This was I can't explain it. I don't know how. Like, who was that even said it to us? I think was it Steve? I don't know who it was. Maybe, I don't know. We get there this year, right? We in the rookie game. We not all-stars.
Yeah, we in the rookie game.
But we on the floor with everybody. Shaq right here, AI, Steve Francis, Katina. We 1920. Right. You know what we doing. We Pepe Le Pew. We all over the place. We got activity in and out. So at some point, we done got it so lit that the OG started to come to the little area right there. We chilling. Remember everybody went and got Popeyes, one of the homies when he got hella pop. We chilling, bro. But I'm going to tell you the truth. This is a sidebar, but I swear to God, this one I knew that you was about to be one of them dudes. We chilling with Shaq, Chuck, and a couple of the dudes. And Shaq got his cousins in them with us, right? So we just, we talking real shit. That was the first time that they was like, yeah, nah, that O'Neal boy, he trying to come forward. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, this Shaq's people. So, like, this is the big dime. I was like, when he said that, I was like, oh, shit. Like, okay. And then they really like rocked with us.
But too, when it's like when you start seeing entertainers show up on, I remember seeing Hove on the concert with the number 7 jersey.
Word.
That was a moment.
Word.
That was a moment, bro.
That was the Hard Knock Life tour. Huh?
Talk about that, because we had a little experience with that. When
see, the best record alive had your jersey on.
Then you look up L.O., D-Miles, and
But y'all had a move. Y'all had a crazy movement though.
It happened like that.
Y'all had a crazy movement, bro, and it was something that everybody recognized. Y'all were young. Y'all was like the young gunners.
That was the thing. That was our calling card.
We just played exciting basketball.
We were cool though, like because like the same thing I'm saying. Like we was those dudes that we was gonna run up with all the smoke, running up the chimney, trying to fuck y'all up, but like at the same time. We was like, yo, like that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we was so young and we was still like that. Like, when we got on the court, we was going to try and go crazy. But, like, I think that's really why, like, because, Shaq embraced us. Like, he took us to his crib. We spent New Year's kicking it. Like all of the real OGs, GP, Pat, they really embraced us. Because, like, when we saw him, like, we was like.
The thing was, when it happened for y'all, the league wasn't an acceptance of young players. So y'all kicked the door in.
We were the only team like this.
And I'm going to tell you off the top, because I remember when it was me, Al Harrington, and Jonathan Bender.
Yeah, that was
we was like, yo, like, this that was our plan.
Yeah.
We just obviously it didn't happen,
our plan was to tear it up.
Yeah, it didn't really happen, but you guys were what many of us as youngsters would want to be, especially right away. Right, that league is about putting. At the time, it was about putting in your time and waiting and waiting and waiting. And then y'all was like, nah.
I never looked at straight out of high school cats as in that term. You said like, nah, I always looked at straight out high school like a different fraternity.
Mm-hmm.
How special do you feel to be a part of that group of the guys that actually came out and had the success? Because, you know, when they were saying it back in our time, they were saying like, oh, this shit ain't gonna work.
Right.
Guys gonna lose their life and end their careers and all this bullshit for being a kid going straight out of high school. But when you see it now, having guys like you and KG, Amari Stoudemire, Kobe, LeBron, all these guys with so much success for being high school guys, do it make you even more prouder to even be a part of that group too?
Yeah, I think all of us, man. I think, you know, I think even, you know, when I look at you, I look at a kid that, you know, it was something that we hadn't seen before. Right? All of us bring different attributes to the table.
Yeah.
But it was like this super fast, super athletic, super skilled, you know, guy that's just crazy, right? And I think it sets the table for other people to try to become the next Darius Miles, right? Like this is you know, like anybody that's making that jump is special, right? Because it's such a massive jump to make. If you go to college, it's a massive jump.
Yeah.
Right. And so I do look at it as a special fraternity because there's not that many of us. So even when they was talking about, you know, I remember sitting in the locker room in Houston because it's the Houston All-Star game. They were talking about a new age limit is about to be brought into place. So I'm looking in there. I'm like, wait, it's like 20 players in this All-Star game and 9 of us are out of high school.
True.
Right. And with other players having incredible success. So it never made sense to start to even stop it because it was more people that wasn't having success in the transition that went to college.
Yeah. The sense lies in we can't have 20 LeBrons that when they walk out this bitch, they could buy any one of these teams.
So you 100%. And I was just about to say that. Like that, they getting more.
The sense lies.
But you think about the amount of years that the high school players played.
That's what I'm telling you. They got way more longevity, way more longevity.
Right. And so when you talk about, well, you know, they use one situation.
LeBron could buy a team now while he's still playing.
But they use one situation of a kid out of New York. I ain't gonna say the name, but they used him and was like, oh, he's the calling card now for high school players. Oh, he went pro, but he ain't get drafted and he's falling on hard time. He went to jail. How many damn people that come out of college that do the exact same thing?
There you have it.
Right, at some of our most premier institutions. Makes no sense.
My argument is always and always will be that if y'all gonna allow, golfers or tennis players to go and turn pro at 14, 15, like, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it.
When you hear some of the homeboys talk about college and talk about the college parties, the college experience, do you ever be like, man, I wish I would kind of experience that?
Nah, because I lived it my junior and senior year.
Okay.
So I was able to go to some of the college parties at the University of South Carolina.
You should have been at St. Louis.
University of Clemson.
In the deep hood. I was in the bottom.
Louis.
It wasn't no colleges or nothing around where I'm at.
St. Louis was like 40 minutes from you.
Yeah, but that was right next to the hood, and that wasn't the hood that liked my kind.
I'm just saying, 40 minutes. You know, you should have went up there with Big Bug.
No, that's out my territory.
Bug and Jay Tatum, you should have went up there with him and kicked it.
That's out my territory. I can't be over there.
It's funny. The crazy thing was at the time, what really made me was like, wait a minute. I remember being in the dorms with some of the players from the University of South Carolina, and they were like scrambling together to get money to buy Whoppers from Burger King and like 99 cent and Jungle Juices.
Yeah.
And I was like, wait. I said, so what? So they don't have nothing else for y'all to eat? Cafeteria was closing a certain time, during the day. I was like, oh, you know what?
You wouldn't have been under that meal plan when you went to school, though. You would have been all right.
I'm like, nah, that ain't the place for me, bro. And I watched what they were going through. I was like, nah, that's not. And again, every situation is its own situation, so I get that. I just think from a constitutional standpoint, high school to the pro should be a thing. It should stay a thing.
Yeah.
Right.
Listen, man. I've always agreed with that. I just felt like maybe y'all need to, tweak who's doing the judging of talent and who's picking, and y'all could right some wrongs there.
But Q, here's the thing: when is the teams, like every other business in the country, in the world, are going to be held accountable for their decision making?
That's my point.
They held accountable instead of the person.
Right?
Man.
Yeah, you penalizing a whole community of players because you got front office people that aren't doing their homework.
But this is the bigger
I'm
part
mad at
about
the
some,
employee for
like I
making
say,
the
whenever I
employee
say
the president.
statements like this, I say some, not all.
Mm-hmm.
But I've seen some people like they don't right their wrongs because they still want to be right. They don't want to take the loss for fucking up. You fucked up. You picked the wrong person. You picked the now you gonna try and force the coach and everybody else to play your wrong pick to get them a shot to do anything and look anything like they something because you don't want to be fucked up.
Even today, I look at rosters, bruh, and it's they got like 4-5 point guards on the roster.
Yeah.
On the 12, 13-man roster, you got 4 or 5 point guards.
Point guards
and then you look at the record. I ain't gonna call no teams out, but you look at the record and you wonder why they at the bottom of the standings because how you draft.
Mm-hmm. How you draft.
It's simple.
You started being a little bit of a journeyman. What made you keep on going? You know what I'm saying? Certain teams, you fit in perfectly, but it was certain teams, it was like, man, what the fuck?
I'm gonna be honest. So I'm gonna go start with Miami. Mm-hmm. Now, they wanted me to re-sign. Like, I knew that LeBron and them was coming. Mm-hmm. I knew Bron was coming. And this is the realest thing I could tell y'all. You know, they got that 8% body fat.
That
right?
shit's serious.
For a big guy.
Yeah.
That's heavy lifting.
Mm-hmm.
I remember going into the pantry at night, looking at the Oreos looking at me. Right? And I am in a full battle daily on what I ate.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm 30 plus years old. I can't go through this.
Yeah.
Let me give you an example. You remember I told you this.
Mm.
We played the one season together, right? You remember this?
At the All-Star break, y'all went out. Yeah. Y'all on a trip together.
Look, me and D. Wright, we flew down there on our own there, right? You know, this is Liberace. You know, he didn't flew Pivite. Hey, my friend, Clifford. He was like, I'm about to go. Y'all, oh, really? Of course, we'll come. Don't say no more. We're flying private, right? So look, G. This was the coldest part, though. This is my only season with the Heat, and I told you I ain't never experienced this before. We partying. We 3-4 days All-Star break. We ain't thinking about who. We out of town. We out of the country. Mm-hmm. Passport status. Not far, but we out of the country. Bruh. Ain't no desserts happening, bro. We counting beverages and everything. Then remember when we got back? Think about this. We get back. We fly private back, right? All us. Everybody got their girls. We get back. All three of us, y'all go ahead. We beeline to the Heat Arena to go sit in the sauna before we even get to pray. What we did, bro.
Y'all didn't go home or nothing?
Bro, this is how sincere it was with the body fat. Like, you could be out of town on vacation. You gonna count your drinks. You counting everything. Like, all right, bro, we kind of like, then you starting to do stuff like, hey, I ain't, fuck that daiquiri. That's too much sugar and all. Like, we really own it.
No, you asking dietary questions on vacation, bro.
You think if I drink this, it's gonna put something?
Bruh. That was the only time in my career that I had a real, like, a high-tech weight scale in my bathroom because you don't want to show up with a surprise. You want to know what's going on before you even get there so you can walk up and step on that bitch with confidence like.
They got the little joints. So you got to be in, they pinching your side. So I was like, bruh, look, I'm too old to be having a debate whether I want to have an Oreo or not. Mm-hmm. Right? I can't do that shit. So that's why I left Miami. Miami would have probably been a good situation for me, especially at that point. Boston was a situation where I didn't even know. That was probably the 2 worst years of my life. Mm-hmm. Great city, great fan base. Body was just not holding up, right? Yeah. And so I ultimately end up going there because it was just God's will, because if I don't go there, then I don't find the leak in my daughter's heart. Mm-hmm. Right? And so if you ask the question of why I continued to move forward, and a lot of it wasn't because I honestly did not love playing basketball no more. Mm-hmm. My daughter, I remember coming home in Boston, and so we had like this little setup where I had the Norman text on, and then the game ready right there, and I go through my process every day just to be able to go and do it the next day.
They don't know that's a full-time job.
It's a full-time job, trying to keep that knee down.
It's like got a child on you at all times. You got to take care of it.
It's a grind. and so at the time, you know, I was wearing hats and stuff, and my daughter came and she put her arm around me on the chair. She's like, Dad, why don't you just quit? And I said, sweetheart, that's not what life is about. Mm-hmm. You got to keep pushing forward even when we don't feel well. Mm-hmm. I knew she was watching. Mm-hmm. Right? And so not knowing through that process that I was those conversations when she would come and sit next to me every day that I'm coming home, didn't know that she's gonna have to have surgery. So this is like maybe a month or two later, I get a call from my wife saying, "Hey, look, we found something in Asia's test. She's gonna have to have, open heart surgery." And I'm shocked, right? And so I remember, fast forward, we had the surgery. And I remember, walking in the room and seeing all of these tubes and stuff all over her. And I remember walking in, all the air literally left my body. I couldn't breathe, like tears coming out my eyes. I had to walk back out. I come back in, and I'm just looking at her, just face a little swollen from the, from all the medicine and stuff.
Yeah.
I turn around, I said, "Doc, so tell me, how long will she have to be like this?" And he turned around, he said, "Hey, so she can be here as short as she want or as long as she need to be." And I said, "Okay, so is that weeks, months?" He said, "Short as she want,
right,
as long as she need to be. She has to be able to get up and walk around." Bro, I go and I sit next to her bed after that conversation. This is true story. My wife actually has a picture of it. And I just started, her eyes closed, and I bend down next to her. And I said, "Asia," I said, "the doctor said that you're gonna be everything went great. You're gonna be fine. You're gonna get out of here as soon as you're able to get up out of this bed." Her eyes popped open. Right? So not even 13 hours after her surgery's done, she's like, so I'm sitting in the room. She said, "Dad, I need to get up and walk around." I said, "Yo, there's no rush." She's like, "No, I need to get up and walk around." So she gets up. So she can't stand straight up because her chest is stapled together, right? So she's walking, kind of bent over and crying at the same time. I was like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa." I said, "Sweetheart, just chill out." She's like, "Nah, Dad, I can't quit." So all the days that she sat next to me and watched me go through the issues with my knee and everything else, it fed into her process, right? And so when I got that, I was like, okay, I want to walk out of this league. I want to walk out of this league on my own 2 feet. I left from Boston to go to Phoenix because Phoenix didn't have any admirations at the time. They were young. They weren't trying to win. And I just did the orthocon treatment. Kobe had reached out to me and told me about it. We went to Europe and did whatever it was that they did with my knee. And then I came back and I wanted to test that. So I played that year. I didn't really plan on playing no more after that year. Bob Myers, who was my agent, before he took that job, had me come in and mentor that team. And I knew right away that team was going to be just crazy good. I mean, unreal. The work ethic was off the charts. I'd never seen nothing like that for young guys all the same age. And so I knew at that point, once we got out of year one, they tried to get me to come back 2 straight years, which if I would have came back, I obviously would have won the championship. It was nothing left. Physically, I probably could have played 2 or 3 more years.
But mentally, you was drained.
Mentally, I was gone.
You was out of.
Bro, I'm sticking my head out the window like a dog going to games, music turned up, trying to get myself going. And the process was too hard every day.
At what point would you say, because you said like you didn't love the game, at what point would you say that happened? You acknowledged it, like, I don't love it no more?
Shortly after the brawl. Because I remember like, I started eating alone. So I would eat in my bedroom. So I had this thing outside in Indy where my chef would bring and sit my food outside of my, my room. And it's to a point where even like I was so secluded to myself trying to deal with all of that. Like I put a fingerprint lock on my door so nobody can come in and bother me no matter what. So like literally had to put like my wife's fingerprint, my fingerprint to unlock the bolts on the door. It would unlock that way. But I knew right away at that point that something was different.
Do you, like, thinking back now, like, because like we said earlier, like I went through the same thing. I probably should have sought out and got therapy for stuff that I went through early in my career, but never did. Do you look back on that and feel like, hey, maybe if I'd have got help, I would have went through the rest of my career differently and maybe dealt with it differently?
Oh, for sure. I think for sure. Now when you outside looking
hindsight,
right?
2020.
It's interesting because dealing with obviously I had Ron Artest on the team and watching him go through his battles with his
But
therapist.
I mean, even with him going through that, like, if we being honest, we as a community, like a black community, we didn't really believe in therapy and all that. And even when I heard he was going through it, like, okay, I can understand maybe why he doing it. I ain't like that though. You know what I'm saying? Like, even though I probably needed as much, if not more than him, for what I had went through.
I feel like all of us need it.
But 100%, and I was that's what I was gonna say too. Is like I watched that not necessarily work, but it was, to me, it was far deeper than just that, because I had this void. Remember now, I was already dealing with abandonment issues because of my dad. Right. And so when you grow up and you're going through all the success that you have, and you don't have a moment. So to this very moment, I sit here with you guys, I've never in my life have had a moment where I can say, Dad, are you proud of me? Dad, can you help me? Dad, what are your thoughts? Can you hug me? Can you be there for me? I've never had one moment in my entire 43 life.
So I can relate to you on that from this standpoint. For me, I lost my mom at 12. So I definitely had my mom tell me she's proud of me, she loved me, all of these things. I didn't have that abandonment part, but like from a standpoint of like where I could relate to you, where you said you had moments where as an adult or whatever, you thinking this, that, or third, like what it would be like. Like for me, that part with me where like you say, like even with Black, Mama Miles, I loved her to death, and she was there, and he got to do everything that I wished I could do for my mama. So for me, that was a part of me that I felt like there's a void.
Yeah.
She never, like, she put the ball in my hand. She played high school basketball. Now my pops, he didn't play basketball. She taught me how to hoop. So it's like, when I won a 3-point contest, that was the first thing. She loved the trifecta. So like for me, that was like, it's the biggest. I can't tell my mama that. Damn.
Especially when you feel like you got the world bearing down on you, right? And
right.
So, every
When
time you go
things get
somewhere,
tough,
it's like people looking at you funny, and it's like damn, everything I work for, right? And I try to do it the right way. Right. I ain't late for nothing. I'm always on time. I'm professional. I care. Like I ain't go to jail. I ain't nothing. I got one situation that happens.
There's fucking with you.
Right. And the entire world, and I watch people on television from Bob Costas to everybody that, basically said we was out of control niggas. Right. And so that bothered me, bro. And then to have to sit and deal with that alone, like a lot of you leave, bro, because basketball was really, that was the savior for me from my young days. Yeah. That's what stabilized me.
Yeah.
Like Coach Limp in basketball. So that basketball now became a real love and safe haven for me. And when that went wrong,
people don't understand that.
Yeah, when stuff don't work out for you.
People don't understand that, because hoop is like everything. And for some of us, you know what I'm saying? Like he's different times. You know what I'm saying? When you grow, you get older. But I could definitely say for me, you seen me, like, boy, it was a period where, boy, when my brother got killed when I was in New York, I tried to fight everybody on the team every day, to the point where they said, hey, Zeke included. And I, like, to this day, I always speak highly of Zeke. Like, man, when it happened, Zeke showed up for me, like, man, me and my family, planes, private, whatever, anything we needed, like, I'm talking about in a real way, but, like, I was off the chain. Right. He told me, like, yo, you can't come back here until you go see this person.
Yeah.
Like, we will not let you, and like, listen, if you don't go, it's gonna become a fine. And even then, like, you know what I'm saying? That's a I was 24 then, 25. I still was like, okay, I'll come. I sat here and looked at her for an hour. Didn't say one word. So I didn't start dealing with that trauma till like way, 32, 33, 35 years old.
Bro, listen, and anybody that's listening to this and watching this, is that I think it's important for people to understand the human nature of it, right? People use money as a scapegoat to judge.
Have no problems. You see how big the country, you shouldn't care about.
Not understanding the more money you have, the more problems that you have, the more issues, right? The trust, you got to figure out how to trust everything and everybody around you, right? Yeah. But your deficiencies that you were raised in will show itself. Yeah. And sometimes in certain cases with certain players, athletes, entertainers, whatever it may be, it's going to be on the world stage, right? And in many cases, you don't have any, people lose control. I was watching Mike Beasley's interview.
Yeah.
I felt that.
I did too.
We got no choice but to feel it. We know him.
We
know
right?
him
Personally know him. Yeah.
And we could see some of the stuff he's saying.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's why like people be quick to judge, but they're not quick to solution.
Mm-hmm. Or just
help.
have empathy.
Like,
right.
Type of help.
Even if you can't help, just to have empathy.
Right.
Yeah.
Like,
just to see what's going on.
Oh, he got $1
not
million.
be
Why he on here
judgmental
crying?
and, you know
Like,
what I'm
nah, but that's real shit.
we
He felt
are
that.
human.
Yeah.
We just do a different occupation.
Bro, I
Sure.
tell people that all the time, like, I can't remember who always said it, but they say I wish everybody could be rich just so they could see that it don't change shit.
Yeah, it
like,
ain't about the
bro,
money.
that don't make you not human. That don't make you not hurt or not have, loss or not have tragedy in your life. Like, money don't take that away.
Right.
Money don't make me morphin'. Like, I still got to put my pants on one leg at a time. I don't just snap my fingers and I'm in my pants or I got magic or I got... Nah, bro, I got feelings. I got emotions. Shit go wrong. My family members get ill. People die. Tragedy happens.
Trauma
Unfortunate
could be to it,
situations happen to... It's the same thing.
Yep.
Let me ask you this. Like, how proud of your daughter is you for, getting a scholarship, playing volleyball, playing a sport and doing what she's doing, going through what she went through to be at this point now? You know what I'm saying? She's growing, beautiful girl. She got scholarships. She's doing it all on her own. And she's out there doing it. Like, so how proud of her you are?
I think, man, that's a hell of a question because my daughter, she's a lot different than my son because my daughter was actually there and went through everything with me.
Mm-hmm.
Right? She asked me about the situation in Detroit. Right? We had a conversation. To see her go through everything that she's gone through, I think kids are a clear-cut reflection of the parents, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, shout out to my wife, Misha, who's done a phenomenal job on, raising that young lady from a mother perspective. My daughter I feel like she's a female version of myself.
Mm-hmm.
She's very aggressive. She's going to let you know how she feel. She's a dog.
Mm-hmm.
Bruh, she's a dog, bruh.
I took that from when you said she walking and crying like I got to.
Bro, listen, she's a monster, and she ended up having another heart surgery a year and a half ago.
Oh, I know that.
Yeah, so she had a second one, and she ate that one. She ate it, right? And so when you talk about trials and tribulations, you talk about building foundation and the deficiencies that I had as a young man. I'm trying to reestablish and make sure that my kids do not have that, right? With balancing suburban mindsets. Right, help them understand like this, how you live ain't technically the normal, right?
Yeah.
So you gotta respect the process the right way. But she's been phenomenal. She's finishing up her last year, her red shirt senior year. Everything that I typically do now, whether it's the agency or any other businesses that we do, I'm aligning her to run.
Yeah,
it's just she's gonna play overseas. I don't know how many years she's gonna play. I don't know how her mom is gonna break away for her to go overseas because she's just right in Austin right now, bro. My wife stay going up there, bro. We may go up to Austin 2-3 times a week, seem like, but I'm super proud of her.
Yeah.
I think she's setting a great standard for my son. My son didn't see what
she saw,
right? So my son saw her as a number one player in the country.
That's dope,
right? So I always remind her like your brother watching.
How that feel though, man? Like your daughter was number one player in the country or something.
Knowing what she
fuck
went
what
through.
it is. Like you said, like that's a clear cut reflection of like you gave her that athletic ability and she took it and ran with it and she put the work in and earned that. Like that's an accomplishment, bro.
Man, it really is, man. I think bro, I'll be at these games and the nervousness that I carry. Think about we've played in the biggest moments, right? In front of
25, 30,000.
Oh man, and I just be sweating. Like they're not a damn sweat be rolling down your chest and your back and shit. I be sweating in the games because it's no greater feeling than watch your kids succeed.
Watching your baby get down, man.
Bro, I remember going through at South Lake Carroll. It was signing day. And obviously, I didn't go to school, so I didn't know what that was, right? Yeah. So I remember going through, it's like this, they had it in the cafeteria, and it was just like, they got this big ass cafeteria over there, and every table was for a kid, and then whatever school they were going to, memorabilia, whatever family. Long story short, I go through there, I'm beelining through everybody, and I see her table, and I was like, oh Lord, like, start feeling funny.
Right.
I had to go back out, right? I go back out, get some air, come back in, it's tears. Because I felt like I got something right.
With her, straight up.
Forget everything else, I got something right with her, and I think she keeps me honest in every manner. They the reason why I get up and do it every day. Looking at my kids, like my worst nightmare is my kids not seeing me be successful away from basketball. Basketball is what it was, but it is important for me to show my son and daughter that I can be as successful away from basketball.
Let me ask you this: Who did you have around you to take your focus, the focus and the determination and the toughness you have on the court, to take that and put it outside the court with your businesses and all the success that you have business-wise and the moves that you make, the decisions that you make business-wise? Because we heard about you. You know what I'm saying?
I know about
doing
you.
your thing, but it takes a mindset. Like, you just ain't like, yeah, I got money, so I'm just gonna spend it on this business. If it work, hey, it worked. But nah, you don't play about your business. Every business you do, you get out there and you do your thing. So who kind of helped you with that mindset to take what you're doing on the court and take it off the court for this mindset for you and your family?
Man, well, you come with some good questions. I think, I think all of us, we're raised by a community, right? But it's particular people, and I would say this is my mother. So my mother, I watched her thug it with us, bro. Like, what I mean by that is, I watch her be sick, beat down, mentally and emotionally from tired, working 2 jobs. At night she had a janitorial job to kind of get ends meet. 1 week we got the lights off, next week we got the phone off, next week we got the cable off. But we never went without food. We never went without clothes, right? And so she always told me, it's like, son, listen, you better value everything and every opportunity because they don't come around for everybody, right? And so I remember always talking to her about, like, okay, well, like, what is your plan? Like, are you gonna do this the rest of your life? And she said, well, if I have to. And when I look at her talking to 2 young boys, it's the same as how I look at my kids. They need to see me be successful at doing something, right? And so every decision that I make, not only am I trying to be right and make my kids proud, but the people that I'm involving into my business deals, they have families, right? And so if I include somebody else into a business deal and we're saying we got a partnership or I hire them, whatever, I'm thinking about their families as well. So I'm tedious. Now, I don't know if y'all probably asked T-Mac this too. I know y'all just talked to him, but I'm an animal towards that, bro. Like, I can't, as a black man, I can't see failing. And if I fail, I've given everything I got. Every option, every detail, it just didn't work. But I'd be damned if I do it half-assed and then teach my kids to do things half-assed. Because here's the thing, I'm not trying to take care of my kids the rest of my damn life.
Straight up.
I'm trying to have listen, bro, I'm trying to have an empty house, walk around the house how I want, do what I want, how I want, with me and my wife. And my wife she's been incredible. I gotta say this about her. I ain't the easiest person to deal with.
We all are.
Right?
We all not.
Shout out to the women that is
Shout out
holding
to
up.
the women.
I don't know what y'all talking
Bro,
about.
listen.
Man,
listen.
Might be the worst.
Right. Man, listen, bro. My wife she's been a rock in so many ways, man, and she helps remind me what's important.
Yeah, straight up.
That, like, real talk, I take the same thing, man. The one thing I feel like I definitely learned from my pops more than anything, my pops drove Chicago Transit Authority, CTA, public transportation for 39 years before he allowed me to retire. I'm like, I didn't get to retire him to like 9 years in the league, bro. He was like, nah, Like, that's just not what, like, my pops was just a worker, and then he felt like a lot of his friends that was retiring, like, they passed away in a few years because they ain't doing nothing. So, like, he was like, nah. And, like, even when I did retire, I'm like, he's never not doing something.
Getting up, moving
Like,
around.
he's working on something at the house. He come to my house. He come out of town. I got a, pretty new, nice house, built my house, and he be trying to work and do shit. I'm like, Pops, it's not that type of house to do that.
Bro, listen, that's pedigree, bro.
Nah, and that's why I say I appreciate the hell out of my pops because I feel like watching him and experiencing what he does, it made me the way I am. And it doesn't matter what's going on. I can't not work. I can't not do something.
Right.
I can't not get up at 8 o'clock in the morning, 7:30, 8 o'clock, and then like now my kids get to see me do that. And they get to see what no matter what's going on, like my kids didn't get to see me hoop at all. None of them. They got to see me playing the big three a little bit. That's not me hooping. That was just, they got to see whatever. That wasn't it.
We know.
You shut up. But like I said, like they didn't get to see that. So when they see me, I'm out here getting to it. Leave 5 in the morning, fly back at 9 at night, taking y'all to school, picking y'all up. Y'all got everything you need is given to you, and you see me going to the Magic games, calling the games, being on TV, doing this with D, going here, going there. Like y'all see that Pops is getting fucking to it. And this is what the fuck it's about. It's no easy routes in this life. Ain't nothing about to come easy. And y'all seeing me every day, I'm checking that clock. And this is what it's gonna be about. Some like, hey, son, I hope you may play basketball or do whatever. I hope it is whatever y'all want it to be, but just know, work gonna be part of it. It ain't gonna be without work.
But the kids gonna be, again, it goes back to, we want to be, every generation, we want to make better than the previous, right? So we're setting the standard to what that is. And that's why I don't understand. And I would recommend for any parent that's out there, mother or father, the impact that you can have, good or bad, is significant. Significant. And I think, whether you have the money or not, it takes time, right? Just give them your time. That could be a whole nother show, bro. I'm super passionate about that, man. And because it's us, it's people like ourselves who sit and laugh and joke about this that still deal with deficiencies that was left in our lives. Right. And so
definitely do.
It doesn't go away. Right. It just doesn't go away. So just do your best job that you can to help raise your kids. It's important.
Right. Start, bench, trade. You got to start one. You got to bench one. You got to trade. I actually got 2 categories for you. I got 2 categories. The first category is Karl Malone, Sean Kemp, Charles Barkley. Who do you start? Who do you bench? Who do you trade?
I'm gonna start Charles.
Okay.
I'm a bench Karl Malone. I'm gonna trade Sean Kemp, and that hurts me because Sean Kemp was my guy. That was my guy. But when I look at the body of work,
You're right.
I feel that.
Yeah.
Start, bench, trade. Duncan, Rasheed, KG. Who do you start? Who do you bench? Who do you trade?
I gotta go. I'm gonna start Duncan. Damn, that's a tough one. She's my guy too.
It'd been an easy decision. I didn't leave him out. South Carolina or Rasheed? Which one?
Yeah, I'm gonna go. Damn, because it really depends on what I need at the time.
You going KG?
That's when they turn when they don't want to see it.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go what I need.
So I'm gonna go. Tim, start Tim, bench a ticket, and then trade Sheed.
Okay. Hey, this is what I ask everybody, but I don't know that there has been anybody that I have been looking forward to asking this.
Let's see what he goes
up. Black Liberace. You hear me? Like I ask everybody. Hey, listen. This ain't about no mama shit. This ain't about no Coach Glitz, like Coach G getting them. Nah. And I know exclusively some of the shit you done did. So I need one of the real good stories about something that the Black Liberace did when he had that change. You done got, I ain't gonna talk about your double bags public knowledge. I ain't gonna just say that though, but like, man, it got a lot of change, nice little, like,
what did you do for you instead of not the moms and all that?
Pick a good one, because don't play with me. I know how many times it's been. I can name times myself when I was impressed when you didn't even know me. And so, like, pick something good.
Wait, so something that I bought myself or something that I did?
Did you treated yourself? Like, I don't care if you bought yourself or if you did. So I'm talking about some,
look back like,
some where you felt like, yeah, I'm the number one stunner, bitch. Like,
you know what? I can say this though. It was
wait a minute.
It was the last game of the season. It was in Atlanta. It was at Magic City. So this might have been my worst buy, my worst spin. Might have been my worst spin. And I think it was me, Steven Jackson, Jamal Tinsley.
Oh yeah, Young Maul.
Yeah, so young Maul.
Yes.
And we spent, I think it was like 80,000.
Time out. See, you see, this is what I'm talking about. Your wildest night, what you did, like 15, 20 or something?
Nah, I ain't
You ain't did no motherfucking 80.
That was so funny because we started throwing the whole brick. They bring them out in bricks at once. And we throwing it at the DJ. The DJ got mad and he realized what it was. And he was like, oh, we good.
See,
80K.
Just FYI, I'd have been one of them dudes in the video that y'all saw getting up out of there with everything he threw at me. I'd have kicked that shit to the side too. Was out of the picture like, oh, ain't nothing happening over here.
That might have been my worst spin though. I mean, that easily my worst spin.
Let me just explain to y'all why I call him the Black Liberace. Before I ever had the pleasure of being his teammate in Miami, where I saw all kind of shit with the Black Liberace. That was when it was unveiled. Like, bitch, how many different chains you got?
Iceman.
What? But I'm gonna just go to the first time. I'm gonna tell it was you and Gary Payton.
And GP. The earrings look like they was mirrors
this
on
was me and D-Man, we young boys, second year in the league. This when Chris Air, the Iceman, was out.
Oh,
this
my
when
God,
they first came out with rose gold jewelry.
Oh.
We got it on now. I had never seen it before in my life. All I saw was either gold or whatever you want to call it, silver, platinum. I didn't even know platinum existed. I thought it was either silver or gold. Cool. Stainless steel, I guess, too. This motherfucker here, him and GP rose up, boy.
Ooh.
You had that big dumbass cross with the watch, with the, oh man. I said, oh my Lord, what is that? I was like, what? You remember when we saw that, bro? Like, we was like, dog, you couldn't tell us, no, we told everybody who would listen. Jermaine O'Neal and Gary Payton. I never,
the earrings they had in their ear.
That was when GP had the 310, the Escalade with the
suede roof.
The suede roof with the rug, with the velvety rug. I say, yo, what is happening? Like, boy, I have never listened. That is the single time that I saw something and I wanted it more than anything that I couldn't get at a time. Like when y'all came, I swear to God, when y'all came with that, I told you that when you came to the Heat.
I need to look like
when y'all came with that rose gold.
I need to look like
that
him.
Shit was
dark skin dude, man.
Bro, you know where I was at when we saw you? We were in LA.
In LA.
The first ever when Beyonce went solo, her album release party.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's where we were at when you came in with that shit and GP came in there too. I'm like, what, you got this shit too?
Yeah.
Like, oh no, what's going on?
Was that the Garden of Eden?
Maybe. It might have been the Garden of Eden or some shit like that, but like no lie, true story. Like, bro, when you came with that shit, and I never got nothing from Iceman because, like, we ain't have it like that, bro. Like,
but it's so crazy because he used to be like, they know what to say to you, right? So he was like, yo, Jill, I got this new rose gold. It's soft. I was like, soft?
How gold and diamonds is soft?
He's like, I'm gonna bring it to you. Man, he brought it to me. I was like, yo, I gotta have that.
Cause you ain't seen nobody else where you knew you was gonna be the first motherfucker on the block with. Like, when he came with, I said, oh my.
The cross was like this big.
It was big as hell.
Yeah, the cross like this damn big.
Stupid big. The bitch was about big as your abs supposed to be.
earrings. I didn't even see your ear. I just seen all diamonds. Like, this boy got a whole ear full of diamonds.
Y'all could quote me on this. I will never forget that night, and I have told so many people about it that it makes no sense. Like, I'm telling you, when I saw that shit, I couldn't stop talking about it. I talked about that shit for like the next month and a half.
We tapping each other like, look, I can still see him across the room. He's still shining. Ain't even no light on him. He in the corner.
This shit, like, you gotta understand, it was like I've been in the cave, so I ain't never seen this shit.
Bro. Y'all was the Ice
like,
Kings,
like,
bro.
Ooh, I said, man, look at this. I gotta get some of that JOGP.
I paid attention to that. That JOGP was on.
But that's back when everything was super icy.
That was in the Ice Age.
Ice Age.
Right, the
Chuck
big
had us in
buckle
the Ice Age.
bracelet, the big.
Oh, yeah. That was when you and Shaq had the dog.
The biggest bracelets I ever seen in my
They
life.
had iced out shackles. Listen, you ain't ever seen a bracelet this thick.
I still got that too.
Diamonds and all of this.
I still got that one too. I'm gonna melt them all down soon and hand it off to my kids.
My one claim to fame is that I got them to buy the Jason watch, the Dunamis.
The Dunamis.
Even though, look, in true Liberace fashion,
it wasn't enough.
No. I came with one, and he jumped over the jump man with mine. He said, "Oh, I see your wrist." He said, his bracelet is nice. I don't want mine like that. He said, "I want the whole bracelet to be invisible. No nothing." You know what I'm talking about? The big joint with the floating diamond.
Yeah.
I got the floating diamonds just like with the
I had
links
one
in
of them joints
in
the middle of it.
got the whole joint with the bracelet.
We had the little diamonds in the middle going down the thing.
Nah, he ain't got none of that. No flow.
Everything
He got all
is
same size invisible joints and bigger diamonds on the face. I said, man, this.
But listen, though, we were all young back then.
Oh no, we definitely
was.
was.
We gonna flex on them, but then realize like, damn, like, as soon as we got older, it's like that's why I still got all that shit now.
Yeah,
I do. Like too. At some point, I'm gonna melt it all down and give it to my son.
You gonna melt it? You ain't gonna just bless him with one of the chains? Like, man, this is you. I met the rest, but this one I want you to have.
Listen, I don't know if his hands is like that yet, because he wear that.
He might can't protect it.
He can't protect it. Right? So I got to make sure his hands nice before I do that. Now
trained in the art of war.
straight up.
We asked guys. You done played with a lot of teammates. You've been on a lot of teams. You had a lot of teammates. If you had to put 4 other players, no matter what team, you had to put 4 other players with you, who would be them 4 other players?
We
you
like
got some Steph in there. You got some Reggie. You got some.
Well, like on one team.
On one team, you had to pick 4 other players to play with you. Out of all the teams
she would be one.
Who?
Rasheed Wallace would be one.
Ooh, you and she in the backcourt.
Yeah, obviously Steph would be one.
Steph at point.
I'm gonna go. How many players I get?
4.
Damn, only 4.
It's the starting 5. It's you and 4 more players. Who's
well, I need a sub too. Give me 2 subs.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Give me 2 subs. I'm gonna go Reg, she, Steph. Stack Jack.
I know one of his subs gonna be Bonzi.
So that I was just thinking between Stack and
just because it gotta be that, that's his,
But I'm gonna leave Bonzi off this one. He was close. I'm gonna leave him off this one. Though. That's my brother. I'm gonna go.
You got Klay Thompson.
Got Klay. I was about to say
That's
Klay.
ridiculous.
So I'm gonna go. Let me go. Damn.
We got Wade.
Like hold up. You got Ticket, Pierce.
Yeah, Shaq.
Shaq.
No, Ray was there.
Ooh, Shaq too.
Yeah, all those on the same team.
Yeah.
O'Neal and O'Neal Associates.
That's a tough one, bro.
D-Wade, D-Right, UD. I can't wait till y'all just hear that quote when I said O'Neal and O'Neal Associates. It's like, do a ding. When I do that on my teeth, say ding. They all gonna know. You can do it in his earring, say ding.
I'm gonna go. Hold on. I'm gonna go. If we talking about prime players,
prime. Everybody in their prime.
Shit.
Your best 5. You got a hell of a. You can go 6, 7 deep.
No, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 deep, bro. Because you got Ray, you got Paul,
you got
shooters.
We got Reggie.
I got the best shooters ever.
Oh hell yeah!
Clay,
you got
Clay
and Steph
and Ray.
Oh no, it's crazy.
That's what I'm saying. You know what? I'm not going to answer this question. I'm gonna be doing some of these great players that I.
He got all the dudes on the whole top list. He got all of them.
Then we can round them out with clear-cut toughness with Ticket, with She, with Al Harrington.
Drive Nation Sports. You know what I'm saying? You built a facility, you know what I'm saying, for the kids in Dallas. You reside.
Call it. He built an oasis. Boy we played in facilities when we grew up. He built an oasis.
He built a compound.
What? A compound, boy.
But you know, you reside in Dallas, you know, you giving back to the community and you built something that kids has already been successful.
Right.
At coming up. Volleyball, basketball, for fun. My son actually played in a tournament, you know, with T-Mac's AAU team in the facility. But how is that to create that and build that in the city that you reside in, and to bring something to Dallas, bring something different to Dallas and to the table?
So, man, honestly, when I did that, bro, I didn't even know what I was doing. Yeah. I knew I needed something for my daughter at the time because she was scaling. So, you know, obviously Dallas so big, everything 35, 40 minutes away, you know, both ways, no matter where you go. Yeah. And so I was like, man, let me go look at some of these other facilities. I'm looking at these facilities. I said, well, the only thing that I recognize is we do everything under one roof as pros. Mm-hmm. Outside if we break something, we got to go to a hospital, but everything's under one roof. One roof. So I said, let me go try to build something. I built that, and then it dwarfed into this 2,000 plus kids scenario, right? We got 70, not including this year's class, 77 Division I athletes. 77. We have and this is our 5th year. We've got 4 players that are in the NBA right now.
That's what's up.
And that is touchdown and Drive Nation, whether it's Cade Cunningham, Tyrese Maxey, R.J. Hampton, and Jemias Ramsey. Right, all kids that, you know, I had a chance to coach, right? And then, you know, obviously we got some other kids coming with Drew Timmy from Gonzaga coming this year. Got some other kids that, you know, Avery Anderson, I think is gonna be a pro after this year. But the biggest thing for me is I'm a believer in impact. So X-Man came into a gym when I was 11 years old. Xavier McDaniel.
X-Man.
Oh, yeah. I'm just saying it for the people in the back.
So he came into a gym and, man, he changed everything about what we thought. It was inner city gym, came and got 24 kids that he didn't even know. Right, took us out to his house. I didn't know that type of living was in my own area,
backyard,
right?
Yeah.
Like the house on the hill, Blake in the backyard. At the time, I thought it was the biggest house in the world. Yeah. And I was struggling a little bit because what I saw on television didn't translate to what I was seeing in person, right? On television, it's like everybody else but a black man is going to be living like that. So he ended up, long story short, taking on, you know, the team, and he was telling us, like, we can be whatever we want to be, right? So he started putting his imprint on thought processes. So when I fast-tracked that to Drive, I'm giving all tools and information. In many cases in our areas, we lack, right, on what that process should look like, right? Don't nobody give a fuck about your feelings, right? It's about production, and it's about outcome, right? Playing hard, failing, which people don't want their kids to fail nowadays for whatever reason. Failing and succeeding as well. Give you a template. Yeah. And so we've made that become, you know, the first 2 years, I didn't necessarily know what it was. It was just a bunch of kids. I'm trying to figure out the people. I'm new to Dallas, and, you know, trying to figure out who's good for me, who's not. But now we're rolling. Like, we know what it is, right? It's a standard to it, right? I spend a lot of my personal time, I have my other businesses and stuff, but I spend a lot of my personal time, you know, dealing with these kids. You know, when I leave from here tonight, I'm going to coach a team, right? And I'm in the gym telling these people about what it's supposed to look like. Now, it's up to them whether they want to take the information or not. But, you know, we believe that we're one of the best organizations in the country. We're probably one of the largest ones in the country, you know, by many means. But hopefully these kids can take the same storyline and say, you know, I played for a guy that used to play basketball. He poured into us as kids and our families. Now I'm gonna give it back. You know, I'm gonna pay it forward.
What is it about Dallas? Like, cause you didn't play in Dallas. Your old lady from Portland. like, what is it about Dallas that y'all was like, yeah, Dallas is the spot. And not only is it the spot, we finna put our imprint on this city.
State taxes, no state taxes was one. But the damn property tax is starting to creep up on us. So, I'm gonna be honest, it was the Cowboys.
What?
That's right. I cut the show. He a fucking
Cut the
cowboy.
show. Cut the show. Cut this shit off right now. Hey,
this shit all right
We
now.
ain't gotta cut the camera, 'cause I
Hold on,
won
dog.
We
Hold on.
We rejoicing that because I won many bets against him when we was
You
on the
did.
team. I had a lot of joyous occasions at his expense and D. Wright. D. Wright, you watching this?
Listen,
You know it.
Jerry Jones, I've been in a lot of arguments. A lot of arguments
And he
over
been
the
on the
Cowboys.
ass end of them because of y'all sometimes, too.
Listen, I've had a lot of disgruntled arguments leaving the stadium. Bruh, so listen, so I want to be a season ticket holder.
Yeah.
So we go to the games and bruh, I don't want to hear shit after the game. I'm so mad, don't talk to me.
Yeah.
And it's causing problems in my marriage. I'm like, don't talk to me right now. Right? And so it's been one of those things where it has not paid me back from a perspective of investment in season tickets, but big Cowboys fan. I think Dallas is a good place to raise a family. It's been great from a school standpoint for my kids. And I just think I can continue to build from that. You know, businesses, you know, new agency is going to be, brick and mortar is going to be here in Dallas as well. So I'm excited about that.
Man, shout out to Zeke, St. Louis boy. You
Man,
know
listen,
that.
man.
You don't know
I don't
that.
even
St.
want to talk
Louis
about
boy,
the
Zeke.
Cowboys. What I want to do is give you your flowers, man, because I appreciate you
brother.
with all the success, all of the money you made, and everything you got going on. Like, for you to invest your time, forget about, I know you put money into it, but a lot of people do things with money. To me, it's more important and more impactful, like you say, when you invest your time, when you show up and you there and you putting into the kids and pouring into them and giving your time and your experiences and sharing stuff with them and trying to make them better. To me, that's, you know, for guys that's in your situation, that's got all the money and got things to do, you got family to deal with, but you still make it a point to make that part of your mission to go and do for others and do for kids and to try and change situations that you saw yourself experience and put kids in better situations, man. That's everything, bro. Like, it don't really get much bigger than that. That's the biggest selfless act you could do. And, like, you really created a whole oasis for these kids. Like, you know what I'm saying? I haven't been there, but I've heard and I've seen so many different great things about the facility. And I know the type of facilities we grew up playing in, nowhere near close. Like, they playing in, like, literally, like, the Portland Trailblazers, Paul Allen, Mark Cuban of AAU sports and stuff. They getting the creme de la creme as close as it could be to pros, if not already at pro level with stuff. So for you to put your money and your family and your time, y'all put y'all time into it, man, like, that's, like, bro, that's like priceless to do. And, like, I'm super, super happy that you're doing it. And I'm proud to be somebody, a friend of yours, to witness you doing
Appreciate
it.
that,
And
brothers.
I know the impact that it's having on people like us, because it's putting them in a safe environment, a positive environment, somewhere they could really grow and become something. And, like I say, man, people like us that's been through and experienced what we experienced, we got a wealth of knowledge to pass on. And for you to be there in real time on the spot doing it for them, like, it can't come from a better source. Somebody who's been through what you've been through and got all the experience that you got and been where you've been, like, it's real.
Just try to pay it forward, man. And God said if you do things wholeheartedly, He's gonna give it back to you 100-folds.
Yeah.
Right? I don't do it. Brad, honestly, this is the truth. I don't even pay myself. I haven't paid myself $1. And I run that thing. My management team meets with me every morning, Monday through Fridays at 11 a.m. Right? If I ain't in town, I'm gonna be on that call. Right? And so the idea really is if we can continue to impact these communities, man, all the issues that we start to see in our communities, many of these kids will never be pros.
That's what I was
Right.
about.
The majority of them will never be pros, so it's not about that. So it's about getting them educated, getting them to school for free.
Get a
There you
scholarship.
got it.
Right.
Get a scholarship.
Then they can take all the information, all that opportunity, and give back to the communities, and then we'll be in a better place, bro, when we come down to it.
Telling my kids, man, they giving out free scholarships if you rock with this. Then you can decide what you want to be. My son said he wanted to be an actor. And I told him that's cool. I said, but why don't you play this basketball, get you a free scholarship and major in acting? You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
like it might not be the route. I'm just not finna send you to acting school.
Right.
But if you taking another, that don't mean your route is closed. You can take it a whole nother route.
Yes, sir.
And get it done. 2001 All-NBA team, 2002 All-Third NBA team, 2003 second All-NBA team, 2004 second All-NBA team, most improved.
6 All-Stars.
Like 6 All-Stars, 3-time USA member. Just your accomplishment, your dominance.
Assist 4 times, boy.
Yeah.
Like, in that community, you look at, he like, yeah, 4 them, on 4 them.
Like your dominance, like that's one of the reasons, like you're one of my favorite players. Like, and I always just like the underdogs, the players that they don't talk about as much and might not be the most popular, but man, like, dude was a dog. Like, you were one of them dogs.
And
You one of my favorite players, especially on and off the court.
Hoopers know, though.
But just speak about your dominance, man. Like, what you the work you done put in. You can look back on it now and see, like, man, I put in work and I bust your favorite player's ass.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Listen, I definitely appreciate that, man. I think really from in that era, like I was just, again, it was more about proving myself every single night. You know, I remember my coach, my high school coach, Coach Glimp, saying this. He said, remember, every time you go into a game, it's at least one person who's never seen you play before.
Straight up.
Right, and so you have to leave that perception. You have the opportunity to control your narrative when it comes to that. And so my idea was, okay, you know, I got to be able to control both sides of the floor. Right, I got to be a shot blocker, I got to rebound, I got to be able to switch. You know, I got to be able to do those type of things, and I got to score. And a lot of it, I don't know if you've ever heard me say this. I used to go to my high school coach. I always go back to Coach Lim because he had something for me all the time. He said, I remember in high school, he said, find something that allows you to get an edge.
Mm-hmm.
So I go to the fucking jump ball circle and I stare at them.
Mm-hmm.
And if they didn't look me back in my eyes,
He's scared. I got him.
Seen that film.
I'm a dog his ass tonight.
Yeah.
If he stared me back, I would just back out of the circle, lace my shoes up tighter.
Yeah.
So I know I got something to prove.
You ready to go.
Right. But again, in that era where people were trying to give accolades out to people, that their favorite player, I felt like I needed to prove myself every single night. And think about it, I was doing this was my whole process. It's proving myself. So it became natural. Then it came to a point where I just felt like the respect was starting to be there.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That, you know, the 8 years that I think I averaged 19, almost 20 a game.
Yeah.
You know, for 8 years.
Let me ask you this. Like, this ain't got nothing to do with you because you ain't one of them. What makes you took so much pride in defense? Because, you know, we are defenders. And what makes you took so much pride in defense the way you took pride? Because, like you protected that basket so much that Indiana turned to a whole nother. Like, yeah, you had Ron and Jack and them ready to go on the perimeter. Right. But shit, you know, it's hard. You can score in this league. It's a lot of great scorers, but shit, when they get to that basket, if you got a motherfucker down there ain't having that shit, it makes it even more harder.
Bro, listen, it was either I was gonna block that shit, or you was gonna dunk that shit on me.
Yeah.
That's the thought process, right? You got to be violent when you play.
Yeah.
One of the things that I ended up breaking the state record in South Carolina in block shots.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to learn something to keep me on the court in high school first, and that was playing defense.
Yeah.
So blocking shots became natural because people don't realize too, I write with both hands.
Yeah.
So basically, when people, you know, they're shooting righties, I'm on top of that right hand with that left hand. So I'm not going right across the body. So I blocked a lot more shots.
When you look back on that draft, do you feel like that 96 draft is the best draft ever?
Best draft ever. I would say Jordan's draft was good.
Mm-hmm.
But when we talk about, because people like to say LeBron's draft, but we're talking about
player for player.
The draft.
Yeah, I'm
not them
draft.
three.
Not them three.
Yeah.
The draft.
I don't even know why they throw that in there, because it's like,
That's
after
not
them,
nowhere
it's
near.
nothing else to talk about. Like, y'all got an elite-ass 4 or 5, but then it, like, drop off tremendously.
But we got people that went undrafted. That was a monster.
How was that slam picture? Like all y'all
no
together?
Chuck.
Like, that's crazy.
No Chuck.
Like, y'all look so hard. I look
Chuck
back
Kobe
on that slam
got the
picture.
broken wrist behind his arm. Like, that was fire.
That picture is so dope to me.
That shit is one of the dopest photos ever taken. Like, I had that real magazine.
Cold,
that's like one of the dopest photos ever.
But like taking it was like, it was different because like for me as a 17-year-old, I was like, damn, like the only person I knew was Cole. Because me and Cole knew each other since we were 12.
Rest of them you seen on TV.
On TV. I'm like, damn. Cold.
Right.
Yeah. And it was one of those moments where when they brought everybody together, it was like this bravado.
That is.
Swag on
Swag, like they knew. It was like, literally, bro, when we was ask anybody that was in that picture, when we took that picture, it was like everybody knew this going to be the best draft.
This going to be the
ever.
group.
Because people were just like this. And they were staring down that damn, it was no fucking around. They just, people standing around when they said, come together, it was like this.
Mm-hmm.
And you can tell that it was like, players within the draft felt like they were better than the other players.
Mm-hmm.
You feel that energy.
Feel like energy, bro. And to this very day, man, that draft was just a monster of a draft,
that picture,
bro.
Shout out in the 96 draft,
and
man.
Iconic, though, bro.
Best draft ever, man.
Like, and I know that's something that that Chuck looked back on like, why the fuck I missed that?
I
Like,
don't-
you know what I'm
man.
saying? Like, that's like one of them things. Like, but when he was there, it was like, man, hey, I ain't even come to this shit. It was like some legendary shit amongst y'all, but like,
Right.
he looking back like, fuck, I should have been in there.
That
That's one of
shit
them
pop up
ones.
every year, bro.
Every single
year,
time.
I already know.
Every year.
Straight up.
Shout out to the 96 draft class.
Talk about your relationship and how you know Kobe, and you know, obviously, you know, we lost him way too early with a crazy situation.
How
Just
that
talk about
impacted you.
your relationship with Kobe and how everything that's played out has impacted you.
Yeah, so I had a chance to meet Kobe and really the Bryant family. And shout out to the Bryant family, Shay and Sharia.
Shout out.
You know, we were young, man, and to watch the progression of him. I remember even like going first couple years in the league. Every time we went there, like Mrs. Bryant, Kobe's mother, cooked dinner for us all the time. So it was like this crazy like relationship. And I remember when people was talking about like Kobe changed. I never felt like Kobe changed. Kobe just buckled down into
Got
the
more
thing
focus.
that he loved.
Yeah, got more
Right,
focus.
basketball was his best friend. That shit's just the truth. Like he, you know, because he changed and he wasn't accessible to other people, don't mean that he changed.
Exactly.
Right, you know what made him great is his ability to turn basketball into his best friend. And you know, one of the things that I always say this, like when you get a chance to see somebody or talk to somebody, please do, because the most interesting thing is that I had talked. So me and Kobe had talked maybe 3 or 4 weeks before the accident happened. And I noticed that he was like a lot different than he was when he was playing. Like he was just super intense playing. He was super laser sharp. And it was no mixing and mingling of a lot of shit. Right? It was just him and basketball and then going back on with his family. But like he called, wanted to talk to my son, put him on the phone with my son, and then we just started talking about like my son and his daughter. And then started talking about girls basketball. Obviously, I have a girls organization. And it's probably interesting. I'm surprised. I know you guys doing something with JT as well, but we agreed to do a home and away series. So I was going to take my group out to California. He's going to bring his group to Dallas.
Yeah.
And so we say, yeah, we're going to get together. Let's have dinner when we get out there, both times. I said, okay, cool. Well, a week after that, I get a call from the Blazers. They were doing the 50th anniversary, for their organization. So I said, well, the 50th anniversary only come around one time. I'm gonna go there. So Jason Terry takes the girls team out to California.
Yeah, told me that.
Yeah, and so he ended up being so I called Kobe and I said, look, brother, like I'm not gonna make it, but I'm gonna get with you when you come to Dallas, or I just come out to LA and we'll sit down and we have dinner. We hadn't had dinner in years, bro, and over a decade, to be completely honest. Now we've seen each other, but hung out and stuff, and we went to Europe, but just nothing, just me and him. And so I remember like getting a call the morning of his death. He was actually on his way to play my girls' team that Jason Terry was now coaching.
That's the story I know from Jay Terry when he was coming to play me.
Yep. And I remember I was in the elevator and everybody's phone was going crazy, and it was like, yeah, is this true? Is this fake? And so we got off the elevator, I called my wife. I said, turn on the television and see if something happened to Kobe. She turned on the television and she didn't see anything right away. She's like, nah, something like that would have been everywhere. And as soon as I got ready to say, all right, I'll call you back, she's like, oh no, something did happen. And when it happened, bro, it was just like one of those moments where like it's hard to explain.
Everything just stopped.
Right? Yeah, because we've been knowing each other since 12, 13 years old. And for something like that to happen to such a iconic figure, you know what I mean? Like, it just didn't seem right. And to add to that is his daughter being involved, right? That's hard to grasp like your child, right? And, prayers and condolences still go out, especially prayers for Vanessa Bryant. I can't imagine like what she's dealing with to this very day.
Every single day,
right?
Daily.
She's reminded, even when she look at her kids, every time I look at her posts, her kids look just like him, right? And Gianna. But, it's one of those things where it's going to be a forever, you know, he's gonna have a place in my mind and my heart forever. You know, you think, you know, you got time, and in many cases you don't. And so I would recommend that people value every relationship that you can value. And as busy as we are, personally, I think just calling people and tell them, you know, you love them and what's up and that type of thing is really, really important.
I think I definitely started doing that. I think with everything that happened with Cole, I didn't even realize how I really felt about him until it happened. Because it was like, you know what I'm saying? Like when it happened, it was like when I think my agent called me first and he said, and I'm like, you lying. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, who playing like this? Who playing a joke? I'm going on this and going on that. Like you said, TV, internet, looking, don't see nothing. I'm like, man, that ain't the truth. Then, like you say, a few minutes later, it just started to go fucking everywhere. And
Crazy.
it was just like once I really sat there and saw how I was fucked up. I was like, damn.
Bro, I've never seen so many men cry.
Dead ass. I didn't think I would cry over that or nothing. I was like,
I didn't know how much I cared and loved him.
That's what I'm saying. I didn't realize that until it was actually what it was.
Yeah.
My whole thing I always say about Kobe is like, I don't care who you are, what you think you are. Like when you played in that generation of the league, if you played when he played, he was the best.
Yeah.
And you wanted the fucking best to see you. And to hear him acknowledge that he saw us, like, that meant something.
Yeah.
Because regardless of, I'm not trying to, no groupie shit, no nothing, but like, if we being honest, he was the best. He was the closest thing to Mike we've seen.
And it's probably time for, you know, and the thing that I think bothers me is people, when I hear about people talking about who's the best ever, you almost never even hear Kobe name in the fray now.
Bro. I don't care what nobody say. It's Mike then him. What? It's Mike then him to me. Y'all can talk all the shit y'all want to. It's Mike then him to me. I don't care.
Because all those guys got that level of greatness, but Kobe is he's on that Mount Rushmore, bro.
Look, we got the Black Liberace.
Man,
that man got Versace.
Yes, sir.
Company the ice out here, man. We in the land, man. Listen, bro. We got very gracious sponsors, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to the Yak, to the Hennessy.
Yak.
You know what I'm saying? We got that VSOP as a special, you know, the NBA, they the official spirit of the NBA. But, you know, we got that special edition.
Something go on the mantle or something.
Look at the boys. They on the bottle, man. You know, we got the little, little situation, knuckleheads in the building.
Well, you know, special occasion, you and the wife. When the kids leave, you know what I'm saying? When the kids ain't there no more. Let's see y'all go pop that.
Empty nest, and you go ahead swing from the chandelier or something.
This going in the special place, right?
Yeah, there you go. Put that up on the mantle somewhere, you know, let the homeboys see, you know.
Boys got their own drink.
Knuckleheads,
Yes, sir.